I played 100 days of Stardew Valley, Baldur's Village Edition. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome back to another 100 days Stardew Valley challenge. Baldur's Village is a fan-made expansion that adds Baldur's Gate 3 characters to Stardew Valley. This mod adds 20 plus new, beautifully drawn characters. It adds 6 new locations. It even has new shops with special items. It has got an absolute ton of events for us to explore. It even has one romanceable NPC. He is named Astarion. We will be trying our absolute best to romance Astarion, learn all of his secrets, and help him on his journey to obtain true freedom. For the 76.4% of people that watch my videos but aren't subscribed, perhaps you would consider clicking that lovely subscribe button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. At the moment, I'm doing YouTube part-time. I've got a full-time job, 2 kids, so I can only squeeze in a few hours of this every couple of nights. But with enough subscribers, I can do this full-time. That means you're going to see huge videos almost every single week. So hit that subscribe button and help me out. Thanks a million. It is day number 1 on the standard farm. We're going to start by cutting down some trees. We're going to make a chest, plant our crops, and we are going to go straight over to the Baldur's Village. The Baldur's Village is located just north of Linus's tent. We come across a chatty warrior who says the weapon quality around here is pretty average. You into swords? I'll show you my favourite blade sometime. You'll never guess how I got it. I pulled it out of a rock. We're now going to witness the first event, and this is the introduction of Gale. And he says, I feared for the dawn of this moment. Your hourglass is running empty at a rapid rate. Though at this moment in time we don't know a whole lot of what Gale is talking about, but we will learn a lot more about this and why everyone came to Baldur's Village eventually. He's speaking to 2 other NPCs here. One is Will and the other one is Karlach. So Karlach obviously misses Gale very much, but she can only come to this location, to Baldur's Village, every so often because she has a very special heart. The village, it feels more like home than anywhere else I've been after the Cliff Gates. Now, what you need to know about this mod is that it takes place after Baldur's Gate 3. Though I've never really played Baldur's Gate 3 myself, so a lot of this is going to come as some spoilers to me. But just so you know, if you haven't played the game, there might be a lot of spoilers in this for you, especially when we start to explore the Astarion relationships. Now, this is a very long video. The main reason for this is because the mod is absolutely huge. The mod is filled up to the gills with events, and all of the events are very good, especially the Astarion events. Huge shout out to the developers that poured their hearts and souls into making such a beautiful mod. Huge shout out, huge respect. So after the first introduction event there, Gale has come here to find an artifact, and hopefully that artifact will be the key to cure whatever illness or whatever ailment Karlach has. We can now roam around the village here and talk to all of the NPCs. Gale is one of the main characters from Baldur's Gate 3, and the great thing about these characters is that they will pop up in most of the main Stardew Valley events, and they will all have their own funny, unique dialogue. A lot of these Baldur's Gate 3 characters all have relationship statuses, so we can give them gifts, but we can only marry one NPC right now. But from what I read, the mod creators are working on a lot more of the NPCs that you can enter into relationships with, so that is something we can look forward to. So we're just exploring a lot of the houses here in Baldur's Village, and all of the houses are decorated very nicely. We enter into a new location here known as the Elfverse Tavern, and this is quite similar to the saloon in Stardew Valley Pelican Town. You have your arcade machines if you want to play Junimo Kart or Prairie King. They even have a rotating stock of very potent items that we can get our hands on anytime throughout the game. A lot of these items are very expensive though, so we do hold off for a little while until we come here more often and get all of the lovely goodies Roland here has to offer us. Roland is the tavern owner and has an amazing suite of the most amazing wines and exquisite treats. Later on in the conversation, Roland tells Elfira that Gale was the one who discovered this realm. Apparently he stumbled through a portal and ran into a purple-haired wizard who told him about this place, and one by one, the folks from Baldur's Gate came here to live a much better life. Once the cutscene was finished, we now had full access to the Elfverse Tavern. Roland here had a fine selection of buff foods that we could purchase anytime we wanted. The only thing that was blocking us right now was money. We only had 500 gold. We needed to make lots of money if we wanted to make full use of the tavern supplies. Now, not all items here can be obtained every single day. The stock does rotate a little bit, but you can get some very potent things on specific days. We also came across Laezel. Now, her intro, in all fairness, wasn't half as bad as Hayley's. Later on, we finally found the home of Astarion, and Astarion is going to be the main star of the show here. He had a trash can inside his house, and Astarion says a lot of witty and funny things, and you're going to see that once we kind of get properly into this video and once we start building up relationships with Astarion. Similar to Shane at the very beginning, Astarion will come across as quite rude, but once you start giving him the things that he loves, he'll warm up to you pretty quickly. There was lots of cool items in Astarion's house, including a very strange looking book. There was 2 additional rooms as well that we couldn't enter. We have to build up relationship points first. So we finally decided to leave Baldur's Village and run around the main Stardew Valley map because we also have to think about our own character progression. We are going the community center route, so it would be nice to get as many skill ups now as possible and to collect all of the items needed to complete the community center. At the end of the first day, we get our first skill in Foraging. Straight to the second day, we're going to start by watering up our parsnips. We're going to collect a few more forageables, and then we're going to take a nice trip down to Willie's here. He's going to give us a free fishing rod. We're going to use this to pull up a great number of fish. Now, we got very lucky today and we got bubbles, and as you can see, I got a lot of fish from those bubbles. Not a whole lot of perfect catches, but I did get a really nice sea jelly there, and I'm going to save that. Eventually we can make a fish smoker. Now, I did want to get the fiberglass rod today. Unfortunately, I just didn't have enough money. We will go to Clint's though, and we will get Clint to break open a few geodes that we got from fishing chests. Now, with the minerals I get from these geodes, we can bring these into Gunther. We can donate them, and that is going to complete the first quest of the game, which rewards us with a nice 250 gold. For the rest of the day, we're just going to head up to the lake area and we're going to do some fishing up here as well. It would be nice to capture every single fish in the game by the time we get to day 100. Before I went to bed, I decided to walk back into Baldur's Village just to see what the nightlife was like, and a new cutscene activated. Now this cutscene starts with a big trail of blood leading into Astarion's house. As we approach the door, we get a message. A sharp scent of blood passes through the crack of the door. Now Astarion did give out to us at the beginning about just barging into his home, so we played it safe and we knocked on the door. There was no answer. We decided to go in because someone might be greatly hurt. Upon entering Astarion's home, my character noticed a lot of very strange looking things inside the house. Upon further investigation, we came across a bottle of red substance on the table with a few strands of fur floating inside. I wondered, is this animal blood? Surely not a threat, but wait, what was this huge lump in the center of the room? Panicking, I hear footsteps behind the nearby door. The air turns chilly. Then the lights turn on. It was Astarion, and I was caught in the middle of what I could only describe as an extremely violent event. Astarion walks over to my character. Silence fills the air. Huge hesitation. What do you think you are doing? Astarion beckons. His brows furrow in anger, his crimson eyes piercing and cold. He sets down a crumpled letter in his hand, evidently annoyed. He then looks at the pile on the ground. Oh, so that's what this is about. I'm so sick of your kind. Just love playing the hero. You took me as something perilous, didn't you? Astarion then uncovers the lump on the floor, revealing a patch of animal fur. This was my hunting prize for tonight. Nothing more, says Astarion. Yes, I love to hunt at night, just a little nighttime hobby of mine. Astarion then decided to change the topic entirely and switches over to enough of the uninvited guest. Everyone is entitled to some privacy. Next time, I hope you learn to ask for permission before entering someone's home. Now, in all fairness, if you see a trail of blood going into someone's home, permission will be the last thing on your mind. We were then promptly shown the front door by Astarion, and that was our very first proper introduction with Astarion. Wait until you see the future cutscenes, they are going to blow you away. We were now finished day number 2 and it was time to reap the rewards. We got a couple of skill ups in fishing. We got up to level 2. The next day was a rainy day. I did a small bit of fishing just outside Willie's, waiting for him to open up so I could run in and purchase the fiberglass rod. Now I had some gold left over, not enough for the trout soup, but I did have enough to get some bait. And that means more money for us because bait increases the fishing bite rate for us. That means more fish, that means more skill ups and more money. I decided to fish just south of Leah's house today to get lots of catfish. In the evening time, I switched it up, went up to the lake, and I managed to get 4 emeralds out of a fishing treasure chest. That was very lucky, and that means lots of gold for me. So we managed to get level 3 and level 4 fishing today. I sold all of the fish that I caught, and I made almost 2200 gold. I got a few little pieces of catfish here and there. Once we get the bait maker though, that will dramatically change. Now, come the next day, I took on a help wanted quest where I had to fish up a total of 3 sunfish, so we started with that. We do want to get some prize tickets so we can get the star drop tea. We came across a new NPC by the name of Halson. And this is what I love about the Baldur's Village mod, because a lot of the Baldur's Village NPCs interact with the Stardew Valley NPCs. So Halson just said there that he thinks Linus would be suited to be a druid. And if you don't know what a druid is basically a person that can shapeshift into many different types of animals. So we just completed our sunfish quest there. We're now going to go to Pierre. We're going to spend all our money on lovely potatoes. There's a few reasons I got potatoes. The main reason is it's a very good crop for making good money. Secondly, we need that to make a dish of the sea later on. It just means we can have a shot at the legend fish with only a fishing skill of 7, because the dish of the sea will give us a fishing to +3. For the rest of the day, we're just doing more fishing. We're getting some diamonds and rubies there as well. Now we're going to sell those for now because we're all about money at the moment, and the more money we get, the more progress we can make across a lot of areas, including getting into the Skull Caverns fairly early. Now I did want to get a skill up today, so we cut down a couple of trees as well, just so we start the next day with full energy. I made 4,000 gold today. The emeralds, the ruby and the diamond all sold for nice pockets of cash. Today we are getting our first harvest of parsnips. I also picked up a few carrots as well. Carrots are probably one of the best foods you can get in spring for energy. Now, with the rest of the money, I decided to buy a lot more parsnips. Reason being, this is probably the best crop come spring when it comes to getting farming XP. And the sooner I can get my farming skill to 6, the sooner I can start making quality sprinklers so we can automate the watering process. Now, it is going to take a lot of energy and a lot of time to plant all these parsnips, but if I'm really stuck, I can cut down a couple of trees. I can even shake trees to get seeds to make field snacks. They're really good for energy as well. And if we run around our farm, we'll see lots of seeds on the ground that we can hoe up and we can make field snacks no problem. For the rest of the day, we're just going to plant the crops. We're going to water them up. Now, this process every single morning is going to take a lot of in-game hours, but it is going to be so worth it. Not only are we going to get lots of farming XP, but we are going to make lots of money when we sell all these parsnips. We're going to make some serious profits, and it just means we can get into the Skull Caverns much earlier as well. And that's where the real money can be made when it comes to spring. Now, the next day is a rainy day, which is absolutely amazing for us. That means we don't have to spend the first half portion of the day watering crops. Now, I am cutting down trees today because it is Saturday, and I really want to repair the bridge to get into the tide pool area, because Saturday is the final day of the week where all of the forageables on the beach accumulate. Once we get into Sunday, it'll go back to stage 1 again. So, take my advice, when you start a new file, try your best to repair the bridge in the first week and reap the rewards on Saturday. You get a lot of money for selling those forageables, you also get a lot of foraging XP. So we did some fishing today, but later on I decided to go into the mines and make some progress, because if we want to make tons of quality sprinklers, we're going to need gold bars, iron bars and refined quartz, and we need to delve down pretty deep to get our hands on all those resources. The fire quartz is especially handy because that can give back 3 refined quartz every time you smelt it. Now, we didn't make huge amounts of progress today because I didn't come in here with a lot of edible foods that could give me energy, so we made it down a few levels and we left. The next day, the real grind begins. I have a couple of field snacks, I have some parsnips, and I have some chubs as well from doing some fishing. So we're going to water up the crops, go straight back into the mines to make some progress. We did hit floor 10 today, so we get some nice boots there. That will give us a defense increase. Now, it is worth my time stopping and wiping out as many insects as possible, because if I can get an early monster eradication goal for the insects, that means I get the insect head weapon, and that weapon has been significantly buffed since the 1.6. There's also a chance these insects can drop ancient seeds on death, and an early ancient seed would mean lots of ancient crops for us in year 1. Now, we don't get that lucky in this playthrough, but there's always a chance it could happen. When we get to floor 20, we get a nice weapon upgrade there, so that's going to make life a little bit easier for us. Level 3 foraging, very important. We can now make the cookout kit. That's needed to make the dish off the sea without upgrading the house. We get our first book of power, the Monster Compendium. This gives a small chance for enemies to drop double the loot. It is a very nice book to get early on in the challenge. When we were on floor 29, I busted up some crates. I managed to get the Forest Sword. That was a very nice upgrade for us. Day number 9 was a rainy day, which was nice. We also get to harvest all of these lovely parsnips, and that's what I love about parsnips. They only take a few days to water up, then you can reap the rewards. Now, we end up getting a lot of farming skill ups today. Unfortunately, we only got halfway to 5, but it was still a good lot of farming XP. We're going to sell all these parsnips for lots of money. We will sell these parsnips directly to Pierre today because he's closed tomorrow. On her way to the shop, Shadowheart had a quest. She was looking for the leak, and that's the great thing about the Baldur's Village mod. It will also incorporate daily quests to a lot of the Baldur's Village NPCs. We're also going to purchase a larger backpack as well, just so we're not throwing away valuable items. We're going to purchase even more parsnip seeds now. Today, we're going to plant those down and make our way up to Baldur's Village, and we're going to give Shadowheart a leak that she requested. Now, to my knowledge, there isn't really any sort of additional events that you can get when you get relationship points up with Shadowheart or Gale or any of the other NPCs. It's primarily just Astarion at the moment, but I'll still try my best to get as much friendship points with all of the Baldur's Village NPCs in this playthrough. Now, we got a lot of skill ups today, including fishing. We can now make the bait maker, and I'm going to show you just how overpowered the bait maker is, especially when you're starting out in spring. Day number 10 of this challenge, we finally get to harvest all of our lovely potatoes. That gives us a skill up now to level 5 farming. Just one more skill up and we can start making quality sprinklers. At this moment in time, I was aiming for quality sprinklers for the strawberries, but that might not be the case for this challenge, but we'll see. We did get the monster eradication goal for the insects, so we can now swap out the forest sword for the superly overpowered insect head. This weapon is just an absolute game changer. It's very easy to get early on as well. So I'm going to sell the forest sword to Marlin because I'm just never going to use it again. I was up in the lake area fishing and this NPC came along and it literally scared the life out of me. I thought this NPC was Sebastian, but when I went to talk to the NPC, the woman in black popped up on the screen and it just gave me such a fright because the character model for the woman in black is very similar to Sebastian. And she was just talking about the Elle first tavern and the rules and things like that. So just beware if you're playing the mod. This character can absolutely scare the life out of you because she even goes to the exact same location that Sebastian goes. So we're just going to get tillered there. Crops were 10% more. We made over 8,000 gold today, primarily from selling potatoes, and we also sold some other bits and pieces of fish there as well. Demetrius visits us the next day because I think we made over 20,000 gold now in total. We're going to go with the mushroom caves. Now normally I select the back caves when I'm going the community centre route, but I picked the mushrooms because energy is just a lot more important to me this time around. If I want to get the pomegranates, if I want to get the apples, I will have to go into Pierre's and I'll have to buy some saplings just to play it safe. But we'll also be checking the travelling cart every time she pops up as well, so we might get lucky that way. We're back in the mines now for the good portion of today. We're on the dark floors, we're making our way down. We're getting lots of copper ores. Tons of copper will be needed later for tappers and kegs. We'll also need copper ores as well if we want to make some cherry bombs on our bits and bobs. So lots of copper. I made it down into the mid tiers now. We can get iron ore. I'm still using the regular pickaxe, so there will come a time now very soon where I'll have to stop, upgrade the pickaxe, do something else for a while, and then come back into the mines just to make some faster progression. Once you get into the mid levels of the mines, the first thing you're going to notice is how difficult it is to ascend through the floors because of the amount of swings you need with a regular pickaxe to break open just a regular rock. Now, you could make cherry bombs, it could speed up progress for you, which is what I'm doing here, but you're also digging into important resources because you need that copper to make tappers and cakes and other bits and bobs, but it's up to yourself. You can also get lucky, and when you slay a monster, it could drop a staircase. Now, when you come across an infested floor like this, I actually took the time and wiped out every monster in the floor because I just needed one more level to get the checkpoint, which was floor 50. And even if I left and came back, floor 49 would still be an infested floor. So because I had a little bit of time left on the clock, I decided it was best to just wipe everything out and proceed. When we got to floor 50, I picked up the Tundra Boots. That was a little bit more defense and immunity added to my character. We got a few skill ups in mining and combat today, which was nice. The next day it was raining, which was absolutely great. I mean, I was just shuddering at the thought of watering up all the crops. Now tomorrow, we won't be so lucky. We're going to have to water up all the crops. Now today is going to be a very productive day. We're going to go straight to the tide pool area, pick up all these forageables. We will need some of these to create a bait maker. We're then going to go to Willie's, get the iridium rod along with a trap bobber, because we are going to fight the legend fish today. We're then going to head up to Clint's and we are going to upgrade our pickaxe to a copper pickaxe so we can make faster progression in the mines. We're going to go to Pierre, we're going to purchase 1 piece of oil, and then we are going to go to Gus and get the hash browns recipe. To make hash browns, we need some potatoes and oil. We're going to craft a cookout kit, make the hash browns, we're going to combine that with the sardines, and make a dish of the sea. This will give us a fishing to +3. That means we can get a shot off the legend. Now, this legend fight went on for quite some time, but we were determined to win. If I can put up the legend now, I can put it in a fish pond if I want, or I can sell it and make loads of money. Now, I'm trying out different money making methods for spring, so I'm actually just going to sell this legend. And I made over 16,000 gold today. Now, normally I would put it in a fish pond because I would make a lot of money in the long run, but I'm just trying out different money making methods this time around because I want to do a new video soon where I can make 1 million gold in spring. But if I'm going to do that, it's going to take a lot of time and experimentations. It was now the 13th. Look at all these lovely parsnips we get to pick up. Not enough by a long fall to get us to farming level 10, but we did get our farming well over 6. We can now make quality sprinklers. So we're going to water up as much soil as we can. We're then going to head into the Easter event. We're going to pick up lots of strawberries, 215 in total. Who would have thought, says Shadowheart, I was hunting space monsters not long ago. But now, here I am, hunting eggs. Egg hunt. Ha, interesting, says Laezel. I will not falter, nor will I be bested in any battle. So we're going to make sure that Laezel doesn't face off against the kids because Jas and Vincent mightn't survive the encounter. Gail says, once the festivities draw to a close, might I be permitted to take a few of these eggs home? I dare say my frying pan is quivering with anticipation. I mean, this mod is just awesome. Alison says, I too have tried decorating a few eggs. I believe it's a way to honour the hens' hard work. I think Alison's getting totally confused about what kind of eggs these are. After winning the Easter event, it was back to the farm to plant all of our lovely strawberries. Now, I was hoping at the time I would have enough strawberries planted to get level 10 farming before summer, but we'll have to find out if we get there or not. We did activate level 6 and 7 farming, so God bless quality sprinklers. We are now going to prioritise getting materials for those. Now, we did sell the parsnips today. If we just sold them one day earlier, we would have been able to buy way more strawberries. But it is what it is. We do get the copper pickaxe off Clint today. We can now make faster progression in the mines. I wasn't doing too great with participation of the community centre, so I decided to gather up a few forageables and a couple of crops and head on up there today and complete a few bundles. The rewards can be quite nice. It was then back to the mines to make more progression. I wanted iron, I wanted quartz, and I wanted gold to make quality sprinklers. I did get very lucky and I picked up the Stardew Valley almanac off of a slime. This gives 250 XP towards farming, so it was a real nice skill book to get early on, and it does make a difference. We got another skill up in mining, which is good. Skill ups are very important, especially early on, because the more skill ups you get in something, the more proficient you get. That means when we swing our pickaxe or when we use our watering can, for example, we use up less energy. Now, we were making some good progress today. We were on floor 64, picked up some combat boots there, that was nice. I'm also getting cave carrots, very important for energy, so we can go a little bit further in the mines. I made it down to floor 70. The reward was the master slingshot. We can always use that later if we get to Ginger Island, of course. Now, I wanted to make it a little bit further today, but the problem was my energy was very low, so I had to kind of sacrifice a few pieces of copper and cross my fingers in the hopes that enemies would drop staircases, which they did. Now, I got very lucky with a few of the cherry bombs that I made, and I got some staircases here and there. I was on floor 77, I came across an elite slime. I wiped that out, it dropped more combat boots. When I got to floor 78, I got very lucky again. Skeletons dropped another staircase for me. Now, I got very lucky and I managed to get another staircase on the next level, and this brought me straight down to floor 80, and I was able to pick up a nice boot upgrade there, the Fireworker boots. It was then off to the community centre the next day to finish up the blacksmith bundle. That was a copper, gold and iron bar. The Geologist bundle, we had all the pieces for that, including the Fire Quartz. And the final bundle then for the Boiler Room, the Adventures bundle, I just give in a Solar and a Void Essence. I got back some goodies, and that's going to unlock fast travel. We're also going to hand in our pickaxe to Clint and upgrade that to a steel pickaxe, just to make even faster progress in the mines. It also means we can start hitting Skull Cavern as well, once we get some money. And I spent a good portion of the day fishing. I also went into the mines to get some of the cave fish as well, just for the fishing collection. I made a total of 6,200 gold today, which was nice, and it was our time to go into the 17th of spring. So we're over halfway now through spring, and we're making some pretty good progress. Today was a rainy day. I started picking up a green bean. I'm going to make the bait maker, and I am now going to show you the absolute undisputed power of this bait maker. If we had the fish smoker, we would have made a lot more money, but alas, we don't have the resources to craft one of those just yet. It was off to Clint's the next day. We're going to get the steel pickaxe back off Clint, which is nice. This steel pickaxe will see us do the rest of the regular mines, and we can also make a start in the Skull Caverns as well, once we have those bundles completed. On floor 87, I got incredibly lucky. From a crate, popped out the Holy Blade. Now this blade early on is an absolute beast of a weapon. It even comes with an enchant called Crusader. It has +3 attack. It had Slime Gatherer on it. It even had a speed enchant and a defense enchant. It was just a very mighty weapon to get this early in the game. I picked up the Obsidian Edge too on floor 90, but we're not going to use that. We're going to keep to the Holy Blade. Now, Slime Gatherer is a special enchant. It just means when you beat slimes of any colour, they will drop more slime for you that you can put into a slime egg press, for example, or you can just sell it. Now, I managed to pick up an Iridium Bar off one of the Void Spirits. That was very lucky indeed, and that Iridium Bar will sell for 1,000 pieces of gold, or I could keep it and it could go towards tool upgrades in the future. When I made it to floor 100, we picked up our first star drop of the challenge. This floor is also probably the best place in the game where you can get cave jellies. So we will come back here later, we'll try to get a few cave jellies. We'll then get the fish smoker recipe and we'll try to smoke up some fish and make even more money. Now, I got very lucky today as well. On floor 116, it was a mushroom floor. So we're going to try to pick up all these mushrooms for more foraging XP. I got down to floor 120, we get the Skull Key. So we can now enter Skull Cavern. Because we got the Skull Key, enemies now have a chance to drop prismatic shards. So we got incredibly lucky today. And on floor 66, I was just grinding for iron ores and coal to make bombs and things like that and quality sprinklers. I got a prismatic shard. Level 6 mining, we can now make bombs, which is great. That's a staple for the good Skull Cavern run. On day number 21, this is our first strawberry harvest. So we're going to get some skid ups here as well. And we're also going to get a lot of money for these strawberries. Now we're going to go to Pierre. We're going to sell these strawberries. That's 49,000 gold right there. We'll sell a few other bits and bobs as well. We're going to go straight into the community center. We're going to unlock all of the vault bundles. This is going to get us some goodies too, like the crystallarium and the lightning rod. We're going to go to Clint. We're now going to upgrade our hoe to a copper hoe. Trust me, we're going to need a hoe for the amount of crops we're going to be planting in the near future. We're going to go back down to the regular mines now today, and we're just looking for iron. We want to make lots of bombs for a good Skull Cavern run. We also want to make lots of quality sprinklers. Now I made 21 quality sprinklers today. We are going to sacrifice a couple of strawberries to put some sprinklers down. It did take a while, but it's so worth it. It just means I don't have to water crops for the foreseeable future. Time is probably the most precious resource that we need to manage when it comes to the early days in Stardew Valley. So we're going to trade in some stuff for buff foods, diamonds for Superstar Expressos for the speed buff, and rubies for spicy eels for the luck and speed buff with that. We're going to go to the pylons, trade in our prismatic shard for the galaxy sword. It's just so nice to go into the Skull Caverns with a galaxy weapon. It just makes wiping out monsters so much easier. Now if we get past floor 30 today, Mr. Key will send us 10,000 gold in the mail. That's going to come in handy when we get into summer, because what we want to do now is save up as much money as possible to get tons and tons of Starfruit. We're also going to get lots of skill ups in mining, because one iridium node will give you over 50 XP. So once you start getting deep in the Skull Caverns, the mining levels will just fly up dramatically. We're going to go to Clint now the next day. We're going to upgrade our axe to a steel axe, going to go up here, and we're going to get the final backpack upgrade as well, so we can make the most of our dungeon delving adventures. I purchased a dehydrator today off Pierre. Now it cost 10,000 gold for that, but it's going to be so worth it, because we are going to try out the strawberries. Now you would make a higher profit if you put the strawberries in the kegs, but I mean, realistically speaking, we just don't have the resources or the money to make that amount of kegs in spring. It's much cheaper to save up on fire quartz and just bang out tons of dehydrators. It was a good Skull Cavern run. We got mining skill ups and we got combat skill ups. We're also smelting iridium ores into iridium bars, and we even got 10,000 gold off Mr. Key. It's now time to attend the Flower Dance Festival. We're going to purchase the Tub of Flowers recipe, and we're going to pick up the rare grow as well, just to have them. It's always better to have these things than not have them just in case. We're now going to talk to all of the Baldur's Village NPCs to see what they have to say about the events. So delightful, says Shadowheart, a party for dancing. The villagers here waste their days indulging in such trivial pursuits, says Laezel. Dear, I wanted to pick some flowers for Shadowheart to wear, but she wouldn't let me, says Emmeline. And then we're going to talk to Gale, and he says, good gods, the pollen here is downright aggressive. Now, we didn't have any sort of decent friendship accumulated with any of the main Stardew Valley NPCs, so we didn't have any dancing partners today, but we did make over 18,000 gold, primarily from selling iridium bars and some other bits and pieces. Now, we gotta help Wanted Quest today to wipe out 4 red slimes, so we're down in the mines now again, trying to get that quest sorted out. The help Wanted quests are still very important, because if we do, I think, 5 of them, we will get a star drop tea, and that is going to greatly help us with Astarion's relationship. We also get our steel axe off Clint, so because we have the steel axe and the steel pickaxe, we can go over here now to the right of Clint's shop. We can get rid of the large tree stump and the big stone rock, and we can get the alleyway buffet Book of Power. It just makes getting items from trash cans a little bit more common. We spoke to Mayor Lewis about wiping out the slimes, and we just picked up another ticket there for Mayor Lewis's ticket machine. We also got rid of the tree stump up by the Georgia Mart, and we picked up another prize ticket here as well. We're going to spend the rest of the day cutting down trees. It would be nice to get Foraging level 6 so we can make tree fertilizers, so we can make big huge tree farms later on. Later on, we managed to get level 4 Foraging. We can now make tappers, which is nice, and the mushroom logs. We're now going to get our last batch of the strawberries. This brings us up to farming level 9. We just didn't have enough strawberries to give us that farming level of 10. I did make lots of dehydrators, and we are going to put the bulk of our strawberries into these. The great thing about dehydrators is that they only take 1 day to give you back an artisan good, and you're always going to make a profit on those, even if you have gold star fruit. And once we get the artisan perk, they'll be worth 40% more. Now, I did try very hard to give Astarion Gifts, but sometimes he was inside his room and I couldn't get into him. I also noticed that on Fridays you can pick up the Black Market Blood, and this is actually a loved gift for Astarion. So this is a nice way to get friendship points up with them, but it's a very expensive gift and you can only get one every Friday. It was time for the chat with Astarion. He says, one has to admit the air in this valley is refreshing. Why are you still here? I'm not interested in making friends. What are you interested in this? Ah, darling, I absolutely adore how much thought you put into this. Oh, he loves it. It's so much fun to have you, someone who truly understands me, by my side. Now that is a loved gift. So Astarion can be quite difficult in terms of giving gifts. He does like rubies, but he doesn't love them. I think he likes ancient dolls as well, or he could even love those, but I'm not too sure about that. Let me know in the comments if you've played the mod. So I went up to the Adventurers Guild, sold all the weapons I'm never going to use again. Level 9 farming, we can now make iridium sprinklers. The next day, all of the dehydrators are finished. It's time to reap the rewards. All of these dried strawberries will sell for a nice bit of gold. It's just unfortunate we couldn't hit that level 10 farming sooner, because we would have got 40% more for that. Now that's 24, almost 25,000 gold right there. We've got 37,000 gold at the moment. We will have more gold come tomorrow because we're going to sell the dried fruits. For now, we're going to go back into Skell Cavern and we're going to try to farm as much iridium as possible. Now, we're still all about skill ups as well, because getting into the mastery levels earlier rather than later can be highly profitable as well. So if we see serpents like this, any sort of enemies, we will try our best to wipe them out. They do drop valuable items, they're also dropping nice combat XP. If we see iron ores, we will get those too. It just means we can make bombs on the go. We picked up a lucky ring today from a crate. I mean, I swear, every time I come into this Skell Cavern dungeon, I always get lucky ring. I don't think they're as rare as people say. They must be fairly common if I'm getting them this much. Every time I do a 100-day video, I always seem to get one out of a crate inside the Skell Caverns. I picked up an auto grabber when I got to floor 100. That was nice, and we will need animals to complete the community centre. We will need cows and we'll need chickens and everything else. So we get level 8 combat and level 9 mining. I also picked up a rabbit's foot as well, and I did very well with the iridium ores. I got over 200, which was nice. So we're going to smelt all those. We're then going to visit Astarion because his friendship has reset. So we can give him 2 more gifts this week. We just give him a ruby there. So you left the city to wallow in the mud and plant crops. Absolutely, Astarion. There's no better way to live than a farmer. Goodness, I can't tell if you have superb taste or none at all. So, again, that's just the start of his witty comments. You know, he is quite the character. I tried giving Laezel here the cactus fruit and she wasn't impressed. It brings me no satisfaction whatsoever. The Adventurers Guild in town intrigues me. They seem to house seasoned warriors. Those who test their mettle in battle and seek glory and adventure. A worthy proving ground. I will see for myself when the time comes. They best not disappoint. I'd love to see Laezel go down to the Skell Caverns. I wonder how well she'd do. So it was the last day of spring. We're going to have a look at the travelling cart. 1 white large egg, thank you very much. That just means I don't have to go purchase a white chicken. But we might still need the brown chicken, you know, for the large brown egg. I did go into the secret woods today because I was able to get rid of the big tree stump because we had a steel axe. And then for the rest of the evening, it was smelting bars. We're going to get lots of money for these iridium bars. 1,000 gold a pop. If we take the blacksmith perk later on, they'll be worth 1,500. Level 5 foraging will take gatherer, so we get double XP if we pick up double the forage. We made 43,000 gold today. Now a lot of that came from the dried strawberries. That was big money. But the rest of it came from iridium bars and other bits and bobs. It was now the 1st of summer. We had over 100,000 gold. I purchased 259 starfruit seeds. Now, it is going to take us the majority of the day to plant these down. We may have to hoe up some extra ground as well. Now, we do have a lot of sprinklers down on the ground, so we're not going to have to do too much watering. And because I've been doing so many Skell Cavern runs, I can make more sprinklers on demand, no problem at all. We now get another cutscene here. You came to Astarion's place with some fruit, wine and vegetables. Hopefully this will make up for your first encounter. So we're trying to make friends now with Astarion, get to know him a bit better, and who knows, maybe we can even have a relationship with Astarion. We knocked on his door this time because he was very disgruntled the last 2 times we came in. He says, "What, you again? Do you think I've got some treasure hidden here for you to plunder?" I absolutely do, Astarion. We're given 2 options. I apologise for trespassing, please take these, or hand over the gift and run. So I selected the first one because I wanted to get to know Astarion far better. A gift? Someone has learnt their manners. Alright, I will excuse you for your earlier intrusion, farmer. So that was a nice touch there, and it's good that Astarion accepted the gift. Come on in, but leave the muck outside. We had to take off the old shoes and go on in our slippers. Astarion takes some of the wine, he sips the wine, his expression hardly changing. Bland as I expected, says Astarion, but better than most of what's on the market. A compliment we'll gladly take. So is there something else you wanted, or are you just here to apologise? Astarion then lets out a laugh. You're adorably simple, farmer. Don't worry, as long as you quit venturing into my house, I think I'll be the perfect neighbour. Just don't expect me to mail you any muddy farm produce. Absolutely not, Astarion. A bit of a swipe there to the other Stardew Valley NPCs. Astarion's eyes lock onto my neck before he calmly looks away. I believe I haven't asked for your name. Tell him your name. That was the only option I had there. Couldn't select anything else. Gamergar, is it? About as unremarkable as this village. My name's Astarion. I've been here for 6 months. It's tediously boring here, completely different from where I used to live. Although, it does have its own charms, says Astarion. I was then given 3 interactionable options. Nice to meet you, why do I rarely see you around, and are you this rude to everyone? I selected the second, and Astarion's response was actually quite funny. Everyone should keep to themselves. Being overly curious might drag you into trouble one day. And I can tell you right now, it does. It drags us into a lot of trouble. You feel relieved as you leave Astarion's house. At least he accepted your gift. Maybe one day your relationship with this peculiar neighbour will get smoother. I also gave Astarion a red mushroom that he had requested from the Help Wanted board. That was another price ticket in the bag, and more friendship points with Astarion. The summer here is unbearably hot, and the sunset comes later and later every day. What brings you here? So Astarion is now starting to warm up to us, which is nice. The next day, we start by fishing up another legendary fish, the Crimson Fish. Now, we're not going to put this one into the pool either, we're just going to sell it for money. I mean, this 100-day challenge is more about fleshing out the Baldur's Village map than anything else. So, all I want to do is make quick cash, so if anything comes up that requires lots of money, I have that money available to me. We're back down in the mines, and we're just focusing on more iron ores, but we're getting diamonds and rubies as well, which is nice, and we'll keep those for buff foods for Skull Caverns. Level 10 mining, I took blacksmith. I can now get 50% more for selling bars. I made more sprinklers today, because we are going to plant a lot more crops. We need to think about the community centre bundles, so I needed melons, I needed tons of different types of crops. I needed to ensure as well that I was going to get 5 gold star quality melons, so I can complete the quality bundle. I also started to donate stuff to Gunther as well, because I do want to get down to Krobus eventually. I made over 22,000 gold today from selling iridium bars. The next day I went to Robin. I'm going to get her to make a coop, because we need to start thinking about animals now, especially the pig, to find truffles for us. We went to visit Astarion today for a chat, and he said our shoes were covered in mud. Next time, do clean yourself up before you enter. This is not some game stadium. Another beautiful interaction there with our good friend Astarion. I gave Laezel a red mushroom. I thought because it was poisonous she could use it in combat, but she wasn't impressed at all. And she said it was my final warning, don't test her. For the rest of the day, we are cutting down trees, and we're going to whack open as many weeds as possible to get lots and lots of fibre. I'm very close to level 6 foraging. Once we get that, we can now make the lightning rod, which is very important, because if we get a storm, which should happen very soon, this is a great way to get lots of battery packs very early in the game. We're going to talk to the travelling cart today, and she had some things we're going to get. I'm going to get the artichoke seed. You can't get those until year 2, so I picked it up just in case we need it for something down the road. There was also a Help Wanted quest here. Halson was looking for a sweet pea. We will oblige, of course. I went into the community centre. It was time to sort out the summer foraging bundle. I had the sweet pea, I had the spice berry, and I had the grape. 30 summer seeds in the bag. So we spoke to Shadowheart today, and she said, I recently brewed some cider. Rest assured, I only indulge a little from time to time. Shadowheart is such a good-hearted person. I'd hate to embarrass myself like those guys who rolled in late at the Elfverse Tavern. I gave Halson his sweet pea, and he really appreciated it. Just got a little bit of money from that, but more importantly, friendship points with the good old Halson. He said he's talked out with Marnie these days, truly impressed by her insights with animals. Mayor Lewis better watch out, he's got some serious competition. It was time to do some fishing, just to collect all the fish for the fishing collections. So we got the rainbow trout today, followed by the pike, and then we managed to get the very elusive Dorado, quite the rare fish indeed. Always nice to get that at the start of the summer instead of the end. We picked up a few more forageables and we came across Robin's last axe. If we have time, we'll hand it in to Robin. We got the gobby as well, so that's one more fish in the bag. Later on that evening we picked up the super cucumber, which is also needed for the fishing collection. The super cucumber is actually a great money maker, especially if you smoke it up. Level 7 foraging, we can now make 3 fertilizers. Children in this town are so curious about me, says Astarion. They won't leave me alone whenever they see me, especially that boy Vincent. Well, you know, Vincent is so curious. He keeps saying I look like a vampire from some TV series. Oh, I thought that was just hilarious, but in all fairness, Astarion does. If you watch any of the vampire things I watch. I gave him more blood today and he was absolutely delighted. This pushed him up to 2 out of 8 hearts, so we were getting there. I spoke to Laezel today in the tavern. She says, find someone else to prattle with. I am not your prospect for courtship. Now, it was her birthday, so I wanted to make an effort. I had a look at the stuff you could buy inside the tavern. I noticed an item here called the Elixir of Bloodlust. Surely, she would appreciate a nice combat drink like this, and she did. She said birthdays? Gil-Yaki have no such frivolous tradition. But you know what? It was a much better response than the ones I got before, so I was taking that as a victory, and it was a few more friendship points with Laezel. It was now time to head off down to the farm and make some lightning rods. Iron bars, refined quartz and bat wings were required. I managed to make 11 of those, and that's going to be really nice for us because the next day we're going to get a thunderstorm, so that's going to give us a lot of battery packs. We need battery packs for things like iridium quality sprinklers, crystallariums, and of course we need at least 5 to get over to Ginger Island. So we used some tree fertilizer, went down to the mines here to floor 100, and we pulled up a lava eel. We also managed to pull up a cave jelly as well. We now have all of the mats needed to make a fish smoker, and that means much more money for us. We went to Robin, she's going to make a barn for us so we can get some cows. That will be upgraded all the way to a deluxe barn as well. We went to Willie to get the fish smoker recipe, 10,000 gold, but we will absolutely make our money back from this. Now I had enough mats to make 2 fish smokers, so it was up to the lake and we were going to fish up sturgeon for the whole day and smoke them. Now sturgeon is a very nice profitable fish and we're going to make tons of money from all of the sturgeon we caught today thanks to the bait maker. We made a total of over 11,000 gold, 11,250 to be exact, and that was a good day's fishing. The next day we got some battery packs, that was nice. Marcella also visited the valley, so we're going to purchase Way of the Wind Part 1. That is going to give us a small movement speed. Now I didn't have enough to get Way of the Wind Part 2, so we'll get that later on. But the extra bit of movement speed does go a long way. We went down to the beach, picked up some forageables, got some rainbow shells. They sell for really nice money. And for the rest of the day we're just going to do some fishing here for the fishing collection. We got the red mullet, we also picked up the puffer fish, and we got the tuna. What we really wanted though was the octopus. We don't end up getting one today. We get one of those the next day instead. The following day it was finally time for the luau. Laezel said someone tainted it with something foul, so someone's after putting something into the soup that's not great. Keep your distance from that pot. Gail says, this one or that one, decisions. Frankly, I'd rather like to try them all. Gail's trying to figure out what he's going to put into the soup. Wait, no, perhaps I should reconsider. I'm sure he'll get there eventually. Now I spoke to Halson. I've just added a bit of herbs into the soup. A second later, my ears were full of complaints about how bitter it smells. Why, obviously it smells of wonderful scent of herbs. Halson's so optimistic. I had a chat with Chadahart today as well, and she says, I'm not going to try that soup. There's definitely something up with the soup. For me, the world has more worthwhile things to savour. Fair enough. So it was time to put my own thing into the soup here, and we're going to put in a gold star sturgeon. And hopefully, that will get us the best response from the governor here. And it did. The governor was absolutely delighted. And this also contributes towards the Baldur's village NPCs as well, which is really nice. So it's just going to make our lives a little bit easier with getting up those friendship points. We went to Robin the next day. We're going to construct another building. This time, Robin is going to build a silo for us so our animals don't get hungry on the rainy days. Went back to the Elver's Tavern because it was Friday. I'm going to purchase another Black Market Blood. I also purchased another Elixir of Bloodlust as well, just for the sake of it with Laezel. I went back to Astarion's house. He said summer's heat makes most people smell awful. Just a little bit of perfume would cover it all up. But apparently the villagers here lacked that sense of taste. It was then back into the mines. We're farming up copper. We needed lots of copper to make an absolute ton of tappers because all of the trees now have been fertilised, so it's only a matter of days before they all sprout up out of the ground. The starfruits are almost ready, a couple of more days. We're going to get lots of copper bars now, and most of those we put towards tappers. That is going to be a lot of oak resins that we need to make cakes. And that's going to be the big money maker of this challenge. It's going to be the usual starfruit wine, and we'll probably do the pumpkins as well. Because it was raining, we went down and got the red snapper. We needed that for the community centre bundle. Now, we were really lagging behind on bundles, but I did have a lot of items in chests just ready to be donated. So I donated a lot of items today. I just finished off the crab pot bundle there. The reward was 3 crab pots, that was nice. For the ocean fish, I put in the red snapper. That completed another bundle, happy days for us. The reward for that was 5 warp totems at the beach. They're actually pretty handy if you need to get down fast. I spoke to Astarion in the graveyard today. He said that dark-haired boy is always smoking by the lake. He gets in the way sometimes of my hunting. Sebastian better watch out, he might become the target next. The next day our starfruit was ready to be harvested. Now a lot of this starfruit you know, we don't have the kegs right now, so instead of having this huge surplus of starfruit just sitting in a chest, we're going to convert a lot of this into dried up starfruit. We're going to use the dehydrators. Now obviously it's a lot more profitable to put each individual one into a keg, but this is a way better method for making fast money. The rest of the starfruit got sold to Pierre directly, and then with the rest of the money, we just went to the desert, spoke to Sandy, and we purchased 428 more pieces of lovely starfruit that we could plant on the farm. So we finally got level 10 farming today. We're going to go with artisan. Artisan goods worth 40% more. That means all of those lovely dried starfruit are now worth 40% more. We're going to get huge money for those. We're always going into the mushroom cave as well every couple of days because we get 5 foraging XP per mushroom, which is nice, but the energy is also appreciated as well. We spoke to Astarion today. He said, I hope you don't mind me keeping the curtains tightly shut. I'm someone who's very serious about the protection from sun exposure. We had accumulated a lot of prize tickets, so we are finally going to get that lovely Star Drop tea, and it will be kept for Astarion's birthday, which is coming in towards the end of summer. We're now going to get our first house upgrade. This will give us the cooker so we can cook up food, but I also wanted to make it bigger anyway, so when the time comes, if we ask Astarion to marry us, he'll move in straight away. Gail says, as a child my parents denied me a cat, so I did what any resourceful young wizard would do. Summon one myself. I just love Gail. He's just so witty. For the rest of the day we're cutting down more trees. I really want to max out all these skills. The only way to do it is to grind it out. Today I made lots of money. I made over 213,000 gold with the dried starfruit. Now you would have made more with the kegs, but to get that kind of money that quickly, it's pretty good. The dehydrators are nothing to be snuffed at. I spoke to Astarion again today to get more friendship points. You can speak to him every day for bonus friendship points, just like all the other NPCs. So, it's a little bit, but it's worth it in the long run. We're going to get the upgrade again for the pickaxe, this time to gold. Eventually, we'll upgrade it again to iridium. We're back into the secret woods. We can get these stumps every day. We fished up a diamond here and a Neptune's glaive. Now, if I got this in day number 2, 3 or 4, I would have been delighted. But too little too late now when it comes to the fishing treasure chests. We also got the wood skip, which we needed for the fishing collection, so it was nice to pull that up. Went down to the mines, managed to get the ice pip. That was quite the challenge. I got the sandfish too, and then it was time for a huge battle with the scorpion carp. This thing was just insanely difficult to get. My fishing bar was just a tad bit too small because it was just spurting all over the place, and this fight went on for so long. Just look at the length of time, and as you can see, I make a little bit of progress. The bar goes back down. I might get a bit closer to catching it. I mean, it just would not stay in one place for a few seconds. It just went up and down, up and down. I thought this fight was going to go on forever, but I was very stubborn, and my stubbornness paid off. I managed to catch it eventually. That had to be the hardest catch I had to do so far in the challenge. That was a specialty fish complete. 5 dish of the seas, thank you very much. They'll be put to great use. We're also going to finish out the summer crops bundle as well because we had everything there for that. And the reward was a quality sprinkler. That was very nice. Went back to Clint, got my gold pickaxe. Thank you very much, Clint. We're now going to upgrade the axe all the way to a gold. This means cutting down trees will be much easier going forward. Foraging XP will be easier. We're going to purchase some animals. The first thing we're going to get is a brown chicken, and we're going to call this one Donna after one of our channel members. We're now going to get a brown cow, and that will be called the Blind Crocheteer after another GamerGuard channel member. And you can become a channel member as well. It's just a few euro per month if you're interested. The link will be in the description. And all channel members get incorporated into the big videos just like this. You could be called after anything, so beware. So I went to the travelling cart today, purchased a walleye. Now purchasing that doesn't count as actually fishing it up. We'll still have to fish it up to get the star drop later on, but we can use it for an early community centre tribute. It's back down into the Skull Caverns today. This is by far the best place to go to level up combat and to level up mining, especially to level up mining. All of those lovely purple slimes, they give at least 10 XP per kill, so if you come across the big giant slime blobs and you can fight them into a corner, you can rack up some serious combat XP very quickly. The mummies are always nice to kill. You just have to round them all up. Once they're all decimated into the ground, you blow them all up for big fat prizes there. We've got lots of cloth there from that as well, along with XP and solar essences and other bits and bobs. So anytime I come across these big rooms filled with mummies, I'll destroy all the stones and all the minerals here, round them all up and just blow them all down. I got a prismatic shard there for killing one of them. That was very nice. Level 9 combat. We can now make the iridium band. That's a nice ring. The next day we finally got our first batch of oak resins. We're going to go back to Clint as well, and we just got our gold axe. That's going to make cutting down trees way easier. Now we got a lot of geodes here we're going to get Clint to break open, and all of these artifacts, all of these minerals will be donated to Gunther in the hopes to finally get a key so we can get down into the source and talk to Krobus and we can get even more rewards from him. Now we still don't have the Dwarvish translation guide, so I'm hoping to get the final Dwarf scroll in the next few days. We're now going to upgrade our barn to a big barn with the help of Robin. We're then going to go to Pierre. We're going to get an apple sapling and a pomegranate sapling, just to ensure that we can complete all bundles before winter kicks in. We just completed the exotic foraging bundle there, thanks to a lot of the stuff we got out in the desert. Got some nice rewards for that, including the Autumn's Bounty. We also completed the construction bundle because we had the regular wood, the hardwood, and the stone. That was pretty nice. The reward was a charcoal kennel. We're now getting lots of iridium bars back, and because we have the blacksmith perk, they're all selling for 1500 gold a pop. Spoke with Astarion today. He says, I heard you know a lot of gossip around town. Spill it. Yes, I'm excellent at keeping secrets. Just another witty comment there from good old Astarion. But it's a good sign because it shows that he trusts us a bit more to ask us those kind of questions. So as we accumulate more friendship with Astarion, we're going to see some pretty cool cutscenes and we're going to see some very interesting dialogue as well from him. The rest of the day was spent literally getting rid of all resources on the farm just to make room for lots of space, because we're going to be getting our hands on a lot of pumpkins now that we're almost going into fall. We also picked up a new book of power here, known as Woody's Secret. Felled trees have a 5% chance to yield double the resources. It was Astarion's birthday, so we're going to give him the black market blood. He says my birthday, well it was just a random date I put down for registry forms. I thought that was actually hilarious, but this gift is splendid. He loves the blood. Dear farmer, come to see me again. I'm now going to give him the star drop tea, and we get the same dialogue again. Now, this star drop tea puts him right up to 8 hearts. This means we can now go, we can get a bouquet from Pierre, and we can start going out with Astarion. Now, just a friendly warning here, some of these events can go on for at least 10 minutes. It's like watching a little mini-movie or a mini-series. They're huge, but they're really good, and I'm going to try my absolute best to make those events as entertaining as possible by narrating them to the best of my abilities. So that's going to happen now fairly soon in the video. I'm going to purchase some stone off Robin here because I was just out a little bit to get the next building upgrade, and that was going to be another barn upgrade right there. I'm then going to talk to Clint for the iridium pickaxe upgrade as well. That's going to make Skull Cavern Run way easier in the future. We're cutting down more trees today. Tomorrow is the green rain, so that's going to be a really good day for foraging XP. Now we have a gold axe. We are going to spend the whole day wiping out all these weeds, especially the big thick weeds, because they give 15 foraging XP apiece. It's a great way to really accumulate that XP. We have level 8 foraging at the moment. If we can get up past level 9, I'll be very happy today. We just spoke to Demetrius as well in his hazmat suit, and he's delighted with this new weather phenomena. Another great thing about the green rain is that you can get fiddlehead fern trees. You cut them down, you get lots of fiddlehead ferns. And you can keep those if you want, and you can make a fiddlehead risotto later for a profit, or you can just sell the fiddlehead ferns as well for extra money. We're going to talk to Marnie. We're going to get more animals today because we have some building upgrades. We're going to get a goat, and the goat will be called after another GamerGar channel member, Rebecca. So hopefully in the next few in-game weeks, Rebecca will be able to give us a nice big goat's milk. We're now going to get an auto grabber off Marnie, and that's going to be our second auto grabber. It just means I don't have to tend to the animals every single day. I got my iridium pickaxe off Clint, thank you very much. We're now going to hand in the gold axe. That's going to be upgraded to an iridium. Once we get that iridium axe, it'll literally take 3 swings to wipe out a tree, so foraging XP will be much more easily obtained. I made lots of cakes today. I could have made a lot more, but I only had so many oak resins. That's the bottleneck right now, it's the oak resins. I'm going to put these cakes inside my house. Now, I don't have a whole lot of Starfruit right now, so I'm going to fill these cakes up with coffee beans. That's going to give me back coffee, and then we can upgrade that into triple shot espressos. Speaking of which, let's go to Gus and purchase the recipe for triple shot espressos right now. It does cost 5,000 gold, but it's well worth it. It just means I won't have to trade in my diamonds for triple shot espressos anymore. I can sell the diamonds instead for extra cash. So I made 12 triple shot espressos today, which is really nice. I also picked up a bouquet from Pierre, and I'm going to purchase tons of wheat as well. This is going to be used as a placeholder, so I don't have to re-hoe the ground in fall, and I can also turn the wheat into bread if I want and make an extra profit that way. But first I'd need a mill. So I gave Astarion the bouquet here and he was delighted. And he says, obviously I'm an exceptional choice, but still have to ask, and there was a couple of options here I could choose from. Now, I decided to go with the more witty option, and I selected, actually, I'd like to skip the dating step and propose marriage right now. Just wanted to see would it actually activate the marriage right now or would you have to wait? And he said, wait, hold on, slow down. I know I'm an exceptional choice for a lover, but perhaps we can take things one step at a time. Oh please, not that flustered look. As for the proposal for the date, I'm happy to accept that. So we were on the right path with Astarion. You really are full of surprises, says Astarion. So that was nice. It was now time to get more animals. This time, we're going to go get a pig, and we're going to name the pig after another channel member, Chase. So hopefully Chase will find us lots of truffles the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to purchase a lot more stone off Robin today, and we're going to construct a big coop. This means we can get ducks in the next couple of days because we need a duck feather and a duck egg. It was now time to hoe up the ground Gamergar style, and that is the use of a mega bomb. Just look how time efficient these mega bombs actually are when it comes to hoeing the ground. Though obviously, if you were close to any important resources, you wouldn't be using mega bombs or any sort of bomb. But if you're down here in the corner away from everything, absolutely drop a few bombs, save yourself some time and then put down some sprinklers and there we have it. It's a wheat field. Got a letter from Astarion here. He says, still no clue where the artifact is. I'm considering taking my leave from Pelican Town. Now at this moment in time I had no idea what he was talking about in regards to this artifact. So I went up to talk to him and he whispered some sweet words into my ear, which was very nice indeed. Now we are going to learn all about this artifact Astarion is looking for very soon once we get into the cutscenes. The reason why I wasn't activating the cutscenes is because I didn't know where I had to go or what time they happened at. So I went on to the Nexus page, the Nexus mods page, and I looked at the spider section to see what I had to do to activate some of these cutscenes. So what we're going to see now is a big chain of cutscenes happen over the next couple of weeks. I got more oak resins today. I also got some battery packs as well, which was nice. They're all going to be put to great use. Back to Robin, it's time to upgrade our coop now to a deluxe coop. That way we can get some rabbits. We're doing some fishing today, we're getting some super cucumbers. It's a nice money maker. It is now the last day of summer. We're going to pick up the rest of our starfruit and all this will be put into kegs. We come across a cutscene here of Sam, Vincent and Sebastian, and Vincent wants to show Sam and Sebastian something that he found. And he says, wait, we're almost there, you have to see it. What could this strange phenomenon be that Vincent stumbled across? Sam said, it's just a wild boar, probably killed by poachers or some other wild beast. Vincent says, no Sam, I was scared. Trust me, I saw it. There were 2 holes on its neck. Then Sam responds by saying, Vincent, you really need to stop watching weird movies. Sebastian then came in and said it was fine, they were almost there anyway, so might as well go and have a look. And look who it is. Why, it's Astarion and he's out hunting some boars again. So Astarion saw us coming, he runs over here to the side of the tree because he doesn't want to get spotted, and Sam says, it's wild boar no doubt, doesn't look different from the ones we usually see though. It was then time for a much closer look, and as we can see, there were absolutely 2 holes in the boar, and Vincent says, look at its wounds, told you I wasn't lying. Sebastian comes in and says, this is strange Sam, I've never seen wounds like this before. Astarion's pale face turns even paler. He gestures to you to stay quiet. Why are you here? Says Astarion. He quickly wipes a few drops of blood off the corner of his mouth. Then Vincent notices something. He says, what was that? Someone's over there. The 3 lads ran on over and Sebastian said, Gamergar, and I remember you. You're from the other town, aren't you? What are you 2 doing here? Says Sam. And I was given multiple options here. I could say, we saw some wolf tracks nearby, we were just about to leave. Or, we were looking for a nice quiet place for the walk, just the 2 of us you see. And the final option was, well, I selected the first option because I wanted to get more friendship points with Astarion, and I thought that if I took his side, we could build up the relationship even better. Astarion says, that's right, it looked like a strong, vicious wolf. It looked like the excuse paid off. Sebastian said, a wolf, I see. I guess that makes sense. I guess I owe you one for this time, Astarion says to myself. That was good to have Astarion's trust. Then Astarion says something very interesting. If the occasion is right, I should give you a proper chance to know me. Perhaps we'll meet again. And of course, one event chained straight into the second event, and here we are with Astarion. And there you are, my gift-bearing little fairy. Come closer. What do you prefer? There's a little left in each bottle, if you don't mind, that is. I was then given a choice. Rich brandy with delicate aromas, exotic liquor with a bold, refreshing taste, or try red wine with a sweet aftertaste. I went for the second option, the exotic liquor sounded good to me. Oh, I understand. People crave exciting flavours, says Astarion. The celebration is over, and they've all left. I mean my old friends. Sometimes we get together to catch up. Did you know Shadowheart suspects that her cows are pregnant? Very nice indeed. Gale found some sort of new magical element around here. And Halsin has become a veterinarian. Nothing fits him better than that. Everyone has set out for a bright path with a clear goal in sight, except me. I'm searching for something, but I found no clue of it, and this is the artifact he's referring to. Perhaps I've been looking at the wrong place all this time, or I should never have gone after an elusive sliver of hope. Astarion was now finally starting to open up to us, which was very exciting. Forget it, Astarion says. I can tell from the look on your face. I've already lost you there. Anyway, a thought experiment for you, Gamergar. If a dangerous temptation was placed in front of you, just within your reach, one that could bring all your pain and suffering to an end, and yet, if you choose to give it up, how would you feel when you look back on it later? So it's given multiple choices here as well. Tell me. So the first one was, in each loss there is a gain. I leave my future in the hands of fate. The second was, regret will consume me. The next was, why dwell on it? Don't you have anything better to do? And the last was, I'd like to know about what you're searching for. I went for the first because I'm a big believer in fate myself. And I'm a big believer in loss and what you can gain from loss. So I thought that was perfect for me. Fate, huh? Says Astarion. It has toyed with me for long enough. When will it be my turn to shuffle the cards instead of playing the shitty hand it dealt me? What's the matter with me? Why am I even telling you all this, Gamergar? Astarion sat there beside me, very upset, and then said, I think this will be the last drink for tonight. I clinked glasses with Astarion and enjoy the final drink of the evening. Suddenly, small drops of rain start to drizzle. The rain quickly intensifies into a cascade. Before long, the bonfire goes out. Oh no, Astarion says, we're getting soaking wet. Astarion turns to look at me. You don't carry an umbrella with you, do you, Gamergar? Unfortunately, I didn't have an umbrella with me, and I shook my head. Astarion offered a very kind gesture and said, well, if you don't mind. Our good friend Astarion lifts his coat over his head. He then invites you to join him. And we would absolutely do so. Anything to get closer to our lovely Astarion. You inch your way to him. As you get closer, you spot a pair of sharp fangs under his smiling lips. In the dark, his eyes glow with a peculiar blood-red glint. Astarion whispers, shh, don't tell please, no matter what you see. Will you do that for me? Absolutely, Astarion. Astarion laughs softly. It would be a secret, just between the two of us. And that was another nice Astarion scene done. It was now time for the Moonlight Jellies. We get some cool dialogue here from all of the Baldur's Village NPCs as well. It's quite a spectacular sight, Astarion says, which was nice. We're also going to talk to Laezel here too. The starlight reflected in the water. It reminds me of the Astral Sea. We then go ahead and speak to Shadowheart. Isn't it amazing how the Moonlight Jellies find their way here every single year? It's comforting to know they can find their way home. We're then going to head up and we're going to have a quick chat with Halsin. How stunning they are, these Moonlight Jellies. Yet, it's only one glimpse of the infinite wonders nature offers. I love Halsin's dialogue. Gale says, these glowing jellyfish have a rather calming nature. They have a way of easing one's burdens, if only for a moment. And with that, we can kiss summer goodbye and hello fall. Now strap yourselves in, folks, prepare yourselves, because the next few Astarion scenes are really going to heat up. We start the first day of summer by collecting all of our lovely dried starfruit. We then went to Clint, and on our way we got a ruby out of a trash can. God, I loved this game. A ruby out of a trash can. Into Clint's, we're going to get some upgrades done. We're going to go for the steel hoe. And the hoe is going to come in first hand later on, especially if we want to plant huge amount of crops. We don't want to risk using the bombs. Into the secret woods to cut down some trees. We're then going to go back to the farm, and I'm not going to tap the rest of these trees because there's just too many there. So I'm going to cut down a lot of these trees to get some foraging XP. 214,000 gold made today, primarily from selling lots of dried starfruits. Now the next day, the community quests begin, and we can get some real good rewards from these. We have a choice: aquatic overpopulation or a curious substance. We're going to go with the Rasmodius quest, because this will unlock those lovely mini obelisks for us. We're now going to go to Pierre. We're going to purchase a huge amount of pumpkin seeds. These are going to be the big money maker now for fall. We're going to plant hundreds of these pumpkins. Now, the crops that we planted on the bottom left hand of the farm can now be harvested. We're going to replace it with pumpkins, which is really nice. We're then going to go into the mines. We wiped out a few ghosts, picked up the ectoplasm, and we can give that now to Asmodeus for another quest complete. The reward is pretty nice as well. If you don't have a whole lot of money, you get a few thousand gold for that. We got a help wanted quest here. Gail was looking for an extra sunfish. 225 gold, but it does make Gail happy, and it does give us a prize ticket. Because we have so much money, we are going to purchase all of these skill books and all of the books of power from the book vendor. And all of these books of power are going to give us some really cool abilities too, like Way of the Wind Part 2 will make our character move even faster. The old Slither Legs will make our character move quickly through crops and fields of debris, so they're going to come in handy in terms of saving time. And every time we complete a big community quest, we also get a prize ticket. It was time to go back to the community centre and finish off the fall foraging bundle. Once that was complete, the prize was pretty nice. It was 30 fall seeds. Now we're not going to use those, we're just going to sell them for now. It was time to do some more fishing for the fishing collection. We got the salmon and we also got the tiger trout. Later on that day, we went up to the fish tank. It was time to donate the tiger trout. Now, we were very close to completing the fish tank. What we were missing, believe it or not, was an eel. We forgot to get one in spring, but we can get one in fall once we get a rainy day. We also finished off the quality crops bundle by giving in a gold star corn there. It took a whole season to finally get those corns, but it was worth it. We're now going to give Gail his sunfish. He's delighted. And then it was a trip into the Elfverse Tavern to get that lovely black market blood. We then knocked on Astarion's door to give him some gifts, but there was no response, but I could hear a heated exchange inside. So I decided to let myself in to find out what was going on because I was worried for Astarion. As I said, I found a lead. I didn't come here to fool around, says Astarion, talking to these two strangers. One, known as Petra, says, but it's dangerous, Astarion. This place is dominated by humans. You can't risk being seen as what you really are. We all know what he is by now. Another person by the name of Dalria says, Astarion, did you read the letters we sent you? The Underdark is fractious. We need you. I know you don't want to give up, but cut through the illusions. The Underdark is our home, Astarion. Everything I've done was to make sure that not a single chance goes squandered again, says Astarion. You led us through countless relocations in these past 2 years, says Dalria. You fought off invasion after invasion and defended us from creatures of the deep. Now we finally have a fortress. Petras comes in and says no one knows what lies ahead. You gave us hope. For the least part, Dalria says we won't forget what you've done for us. And what you gave up, we will keep looking after the spawn until you return. You are still our leader, Astarion. We are counting on you. I will be there, says Astarion. I just need more time. Is this your favourite thing to do? Wander into homes uninvited? So here we go again with the whole farmer, you know? Never mind that. At this point, there's no point in hiding it from you. You follow Astarion into his study. There's an odd red scepter on display. See this, Gamergar? Yes, I am a vampire. Oh, shock. A vampire spawn, to be precise. But there's no need for concern. I only feed on animal blood, well, most of the time. Those two you just saw are my siblings. We're not related, but we're bound by blood all the same. A man named Cazador turned us. He tore us away from any semblance of a normal life. He enslaved us, tortured us, and planned to sacrifice us in an evil, vile black mass so he could become an ascended vampire lord, a powerful undead that's immune to sunlight. But I drew a card, the card of revenge. A twist of fortune freed me from his control, and I ruined his ritual with my own hands. I took this staff from him. With its power, I could have ascended, free of the hunger that racks me day and night, and lived forever in the sun. You see a mix of longing and sorrow in Astarion's eyes. But I gave it up. I used it to free my siblings and 7,000 lost souls chained to Cazador's power. Because I wanted true freedom, Gamergar, not another contract with the devil, not another form of servitude signed with my name. But it doesn't mean I'll stop searching for a chance to walk under the sun again. Do you understand what I'm saying? I heard that there's an artifact in these lands. It can suppress the curse of darkness, so I came here at once. Then I realised I had no idea where to start. While those spawn in the Underdark still need someone to lead them, chasing hope and taking responsibility, I'm forced to make a choice. Perhaps this is what I get for being too perfect. Gamergar, tell me, am I asking too much? So we have a couple of options here. The first is no, I believe you'll find the artifact soon. Maybe you should have taken the chance for ascension. I think responsibility should come first. And look at the bright side, being a vampire has its perks. I decided to go with the first option, which is no, I believe you'll find the artifact soon, because I wanted to give Astarion some hope. And I do believe that if he does come across this artifact, it will solve everything for him. But it's not going to be that simple. We're going to have to go through some serious trials. Oh dear, ever the optimist, aren't we? And then Astarion says, I hope this doesn't change what you think of me, Gamergar. Please keep this between us, and leave me to myself for now. So Astarion needed some time to think about what just transpired. So we're going to make some lovely starfruit wine, and then the next day we get a letter. If you have the time or wish to accompany me for a leisurely stroll under the sun, meet me at the great tree by the entrance to the community centre, please. Remember, in the light of day, Astarion. So it was time to go on an artifact finding adventure with Astarion. So we met the next day. Gamergar, there you are. Long story short, I found a magical cloak that grants protection from the sun. Its power has faded though. Gale gave it a temporary enchantment, so it will last for the day. Without this, I could only search for the artifact at night. Maybe that's why I haven't found anything. If I see the valley during the daytime, I might see something new. You came on time. You wouldn't mind taking a walk with me now, would you? The first place we went was the very centre of Pelican Town. We didn't see anything that popped out of the ordinary though. The place was abuzz with people, lots of socialising. We then went into the Cinersap forest when we met some of the magical Junimos. We searched through trees and foraged, but alas, there was no artifact to be found. We even went to the depths of the secret woods and we looked at this strange, ridiculous statue. Don't tell me this is your guardian spirit, says Astarion. We even went to the desert. We went up to the sand dragon to investigate. Maybe this sand dragon would have something interesting, but nay. Afterwards, we went over to these 3 ancient pillars. So ancient, even Astarion didn't know how they worked. I would have loved to tell him the story of how I brought a shard here and it transformed into a magnificent weapon, but I'm sure that wouldn't help with the artifact. Astarion said we looked everywhere, even inside this fellow's tent. Poor Linus. We went down to the beach and Astarion said we've searched everywhere, Gamergar. Very frustrated indeed. What if the artifact is not even here? What should we do next? We had a few options. Ask the mayor, ask the wizard, or, I'm sorry but it seems we've no other options. I recommend that he ask the wizard Rasmodius. This gave Astarion some hope. Oh, interesting, Astarion said. He's been living here for quite some time. We should meet him while we still have time. The wizard looks at you in silence as if your arrival was expected. You carry a darkness into my forest. I sensed it as soon as you entered, said Rasmodius. Oh, very perceptive of you. I will cut to the chase then, says Astarion. I'm looking for an ancient artifact. Perhaps you have some clues you can share. You gave the wizard a rough description of the item you're seeking. Once a great wizard named Xantil resided here for a time. It said he left behind many relics, some of which were quite extraordinary. Why don't you dig around? You might just stumble across something unexpected. Stardew Valley is full of mysterious surprises. I can vouch for that. The things we dig out of the ground sometimes. It's one perk about being friends with a farmer, I suppose. You get used to having dirt under your nails. Chucks Astarion. It's nice to see him brighten up a bit. We shall head back, Gamergar. It was then time to go to Marnie's to purchase yet another animal. We needed a duck for the coop, because we needed a duck feather for one of the bundles. We also needed a duck egg. We're going to call this duck Natasha, and we're going to call her Rabbit Dara, our lovely Gamergar channel members. We're now going to make some more tappers, put them on the trees there for maple syrups, go to Clint, get our steel hoe, but we're not finished there. We're going to hand it straight back in and upgrade it to a gold hoe. We're going to do some more fishing for tonight. We just picked up the albacore there we needed for the fishing collection. Level 10 fishing finally. We're going to go with Angler, fish worth 50% more. We're now going to check out the travelling cart, and she had an orange for 400 gold. I took that because I needed that for the bundle. Because I had so much gold, I said, you know what, I'm just going to purchase the Snowman Rare Crow just for the collection in the future. We also picked up the sea cucumber today as well. That's also needed for the fishing collection. And we had a crack at another legendary fish. the Angler. This is probably one of the easier legendary fishes you can get, so we're going to sell that for some money. Now I wanted to max out my combat skills, so I spent the whole day today wiping out void spirits. If I came across some infested floors, I consider that a blessing. We can also get some pretty good items off a lot of these enemies too. All of these void essences and solar essences can be sold for lots of money. I could even save them up and make myself an iridium band. There wasn't a huge difference between fighting void spirits and fighting serpents. I mean, the void spirits were given 15 XP per kill, the red slimes were given 10, the purple slimes also give 10, so it made sense to just come down here for the day and wipe out enemies left, right and centre. And as you can see, I'm getting a lot of experience. I also got the final dwarf scroll, so I got the Dwarvish Translations Guide. So we're going to get another book of power here, the Dwarvish Safety Manual. We'll also pick up the Rare Crow and some recipes. Now, the Dwarvish Safety Manual is a game changer. It reduces bomb damage by 25%, and I'm always hitting myself with my own bombs, so it's especially game changing for me. I was killing more enemies today, and it's got a dime there, which was nice. On the rare occasion, you can also get gold bars, iridium bars, and on the super rare occasions, you can get prismatic shards, but that's fairly rare. Now, on floor 98, I came across an absolute ton of mushrooms I could pick up. 7 XP for each mushroom, 14 if the gathering perk activated. That means I pick up 2 items instead of 1. But the luck just started there, folks, because on the very next floor, floor 99, was another mushroom floor. This was insane luck. This was a spiral floor, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it was mushrooms all the way down to the centre. I never got so many mushrooms in my life. Now, there's nothing we can do with the red mushrooms, we have to sell those, but we could put the purples into a dehydrator to make some extra cash if we wanted to. For the rest of the evening, I went outside so I could cut down trees, but because the blackberries had spawned on the bushes, I was searching all the bushes too. You only get 3 XP per bush, but because there's so many bushes, those 3 XPs add up quite a bit. I went back into my mushroom cave as well, got 5 XP per mushroom inside here. We finally got level 10 combat. We're going to take Brute, deal 15% more damage, that's a no-brainer right there. We also put loads of our blackberries into the dehydrators, and we're not going to get huge amounts of money for these, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. And because we had the artisan, we get a 40% bonus as well. Because it was raining today, I went down and fished up the walleye. I needed that for the fishing collection to get the star drop off Willy. I then went down to the beach after cutting down a couple of trees, and we're going to try for the eel as well, because we needed that to finish off the fish tank. So once I cut down these few trees, I got Foraging level 10, and it's really nice to have that. We're now getting mastery experience, so once we unlock a few of those levels, we'll be able to get some really nice perks. When I went down to the beach, it didn't take too long for me to nab the eel, and that was the final fish needed then for the completion of the fishing tank. We also had a look at the community quest board. This time we're going to go Pierre's Prime Produce, because we just needed 25 Ghost Star vegetables, and guess what? Wheat counts as a vegetable. So that was the fish tank fully completed. That will reward us with the pan the next day. Willy will give that to us. We also got level 10 foraging. We're going to take Botanist. That means all of the foraging items we pick up will always be of iridium quality. It's a great money maker. It's also a great way to save on backpack space. So we just donated a few artisan goods there to the pantry. We're now going to go to Clint. We're going to get our gold hoe off Clint, and we're going to process some geodes. We still haven't got the key to the source, so this is something we need to do now, because when I get access to Krobus, get that star drop. We're now going to get all of this lovely starfruit wine, and then we get a new cutscene here with Astarion. So Astarion is inside the graveyard here. It's raining heavily. He has his umbrella with him. He learned a lesson from the last time. I wonder who are the people that rest here. They must be appreciating the eternal peace. It's been so long since I visited my own grave. When you spend 2 centuries as a mind-addled slave, you lose the heart to look back at any trace of your past existence, says Astarion. Very sad indeed. That day I sank a dagger into Cazador's chest, the monster who turned me into a vampire spawn. I thought I had finally let it all go, so I wanted to go back to see the gravestone that marked my mortal life. But I sat all night and couldn't bring myself to leave. We were then given a couple of choices here. The first was, I'd go with you if I was there. It must have been hard to deal with it alone. You must face it sooner or later, or give him a hug. I give Astarion a hug straight away, because I believe a hug can cure most of the issues in the world. You, says Astarion. You are full of surprises, aren't you? I absolutely am. Gamergar, I And then someone appeared suddenly out of thin air and scared the absolute life out of me. A strange figure appears before you. It has rubbery, violet-coloured flesh and tentacles surrounding its mouth. I apologise. Had I known you had new company, I would have adopted the illusory appearance of someone else. Like one of your hobgoblin friends, you mean? I'm not sure which is more terrifying, says Astarion. Don't worry, Gimmergar. He's not a foe. So this NPC's name is Amalum, and he's a friend of Astarion's, and he's going to help us greatly in our adventure to find this artifact Astarion is looking for. The wizard you asked me to investigate, Xanthill. Legends say he travelled the breadth of Toril until ordinary planes no longer satisfied his spirit of inquiry. This world was the last place he visited before his disappearance. The artifact you seek, Ring of the Sunwalker, was buried by him in this cemetery. I've searched everywhere else to find precisely nothing, and it was in a cemetery all along, says Astarion. Someone's been very naughty. This cemetery is merely an entrance to a barrier he created. It requires a key to open, says Amalum. The wizard was adept in elemental evocation and time-altering magic. Perhaps beneath the barrier lie further trials he set for anyone who approaches. I know you're going to ask what the key is and where to find it to unlock Xanthill's barrier. That knowledge is beyond my ken. I have only one clue. The wizard was deeply intrigued by the unique astronomical phenomena in this valley. A riddle. Gods, why do I always run into such torment, says Astarion. I'm never cut out to be a bard. Wizards have particular ways of thinking, says Amalum. Alright, at least we've learned something. It's progress compared to previous attempts. So Astarion seemed really hopeful right now. You have the Society of Brilliance to thank for this information, says Amalum. You've helped me greatly before. I, along with my friends in the Underdark, will continue to assist you, Astarion. Appreciate it. Send my regards to your hobgoblin friend. Unique astronomical phenomena. Looks like I'll need to study the astrological map of this place. It's wondrous that a nightmare could end where it began. Perhaps cemeteries will no longer carry only memories of pain. Perhaps. It was then after Robbins to get another house upgrade, 65,000 gold and 100 pieces of hardwood. No problem. I donated the 25 pieces of gold star wheat into Pierre's box. I then met Astarion on the bridge. One of the little pleasures of a rainy day is watching others run for cover. As long as I'm not among them. He never gets boring, does he, Astarion? So mischievous. Because I'd said over 1,000 monsters, I could go into the back room of the Adventurers Guild, pick up the mapping cave systems. This gives me a 50% discount on Marlin's item recovery service. We made 141,000 gold today from selling Starfruit wine, and then it was time to visit Astarion in his home to have a chat about this artifact. I heard the forecast of a meteorite event, Astarion says, very exciting. I wonder if this is the unique astronomical phenomena that wizard left for us to solve. If we leave now, we might find something. But an upheaval just occurred in the Underdark. Of all times they choose now for an insurrection? I could return using Roland's teleportation circle, make sure no one gets hurt, or I could just ignore them and go after my own chance of freedom. Astarion hesitates. Think carefully, Astarion. If anything goes wrong, you might miss this opportunity, or if you plan to go back to the spawns I'm coming to, let's make it quick. The last option is you should go then. I'm selected the middle option. If you plan to go, then I'm coming with you. I knew I was right about you, Gimmergar. You're a true friend. I still long for the sun. But there are thousands of souls in the Underdark. I need to keep the haven safe. So I think Astarion made the right decision here. I was very happy with that. Gimmergar, meet me at the tavern tonight when you're ready. Later on that evening, I went straight up to Baldur's village, and I met Astarion inside the Elfers tavern with a cool looking portal behind him. Darling, says Astarion, this is no time for sauntering. You might feel the world spin. Keep close. It was time to enter the portal and to be whisked away to another magical land. Goodbye, Stardew Valley. Hello, Baldur's Gate. We proceeded towards the ruins, where two factions of vampires are in a tense standoff, ready to clash at any moment. Amongst the vampires we recognised Petras, who said, "What are you doing? Put down the weapons at once." He was accompanied by Dalria, who also suggested similar. Don't do this, she says. It's not too late to stop before the damage is done. But then, shouted a rebel, no, I've had enough. We simply seek to have our basic desire met. What gives you the right to condemn us? Says this rebel. You all are nothing but bootlickers of that pale elf, says another rebel. Petrus flies into a rage. I've had enough, he shouts. You ungrateful dogs. Without this haven, you'd have been long dead. You'd be prey to the monsters, or get turned in for gold by monster hunters. A fair point. Leon then intervenes. We've been lenient long enough. You have violated the hunting norms Astarion set. By the rules you should be detained and put to death. A stern warning towards the rebels. In that case, I should put you to your death first. Kill them. Take down these 6, then this place will be ours. We will no longer be constrained, commands the rebel. A serious clash was just about to take off, but myself and Astarion rush in to prevent a crisis. Enough, shouts Astarion. Astarion quickly moves between the two groups, cuts down the rebel leader. Pathetic. Think you can stab me in the back? Astarion, you came back, says Petrus. They captured people when you were away and kept them as livestock to feed on them. We found out, and they flew into a rage. Now they're riding up for the mutiny. Astarion rolls his eyes. Oh, a tiresome imitation of Cazador's game. Now, enough of this nonsense. All of you, commands Astarion. One of the rebel spawns used teleportation magic and darted behind Astarion, about to launch a sneak attack. It was an ambush. I needed to protect Astarion with my life. I pushed the rebel out of the way and saved Astarion from being gravely hurt. Astarion was shocked. I always knew you were strong, but still, I underestimated the strength of a farmer. Well done, Gamergar. I then said, that didn't even take half the muscle I used to water my crops. And we all know how much watering I do on a daily basis, especially at the start of a challenge. Farmers are not to be underestimated. Astarion got then emotional. Haha, Gamergar, you couldn't wait 10 seconds before showing off your weird sense of humour again. Get down now, all of you, or I shall teach you the proper way to perform a bow, commands Astarion. All of the rebels sheath their weapons, and they're then surrounded by Astarion's good friends. Speak to me. Why did you do this? Commanded Astarion to the rebel. I can't bear it anymore, Astarion. The hunger tortures me every waking moment. How long must we live like this, crawling in the gutters like rats and scraping by? You should have killed us back then. I'd rather be dead than suffer through this misery. Astarion is shocked for the first time since you knew him. He is speechless. Astarion took a while, and then his face turns pale in this eerie silence. He looks pained. So, you'd rather be sacrificed, turned into mush than live? I've done everything I can to make up for what I committed, and now you want to walk the same path of surrender? Yes, you didn't choose this, but those people you kept as blood slaves also didn't choose this, and I, 200 years ago, I didn't choose this. I never wanted to restrain you. I only wanted to see to it that someday we can be truly, honestly free. Astarion's words seemed to leave a bearing on the spawns. I wasn't trying to become Cazador, Astarion, cried the rebel. I just allowed my thirst to ride over my mind. At first I saw it as temporary relief, but once I started to feed on them, I couldn't resist. Their voice trails off till it becomes barely audible, a murmur only they can hear. This is why we need rules, says Astarion. As the leader of the spawns by the common code, I should have you all executed. A pleading fear took over the rebel rousers' faces. Only when the threat of death closes in, they realize that they don't actually wish for it. Oh, Astarion, says Petrus, I don't mean to say that our code is unfinished, but you were once a magistrate in the city, were you not? Can't we borrow from some other law? Something less cruel? What do you think? We had some options here, and all of these options seemed fairly harsh, but I said, Maybe they deserve a second chance. Astarion signed. Fine, fine. Just lock them up for now. I don't want to get my hands dirty on the first day I return. Alright, let's just head back to the haven first, commands Astarion. Once back at the haven, Astarion seems frustrated by the chaos. I asked to keep them out of trouble, said Astarion. Rest of the spawns look away. We are doing the best we can, brother, says Dalaria. The rebels grew far quicker than we presumed. I failed us, said Leon. I thought I was overseeing everything. Leon, this shouldn't be taken lightly. I had to give up the ring to make it back in time. This is no Cazador's mansion, but it's also no place for spawns to run unchecked. The haven must be safe and grant peace to everyone. I can't always be watching. You will have to keep them from causing harm. Petrus runs in with a couple of goblets on a tray. Take a breather, everyone. This blood was delivered this morning. Give it a taste. Petrus then runs up with the tray to give one to Astarion, slips, and pours the blood in his face. Astarion, not impressed slightly. Mortified. You know, Petrus, Astarion says calmly. Perhaps I should get rid of you first and deal with the rebels later. Everything has been resolved, at least for now. Astarion takes you to his room. Those dogs were in luck today. I'm not a tyrant, but I can't always afford to show weakness, says Astarion. Who would have thought they could stir up so much trouble when I was only gone for a little while? I had a couple of options here. The first, you don't like giving out death sentences, do you? The second, you did the most part. I only offered a little help. And the third, why not ask someone else to lead them? I went with the middle option, just to play it safe. I'd hate to see my siblings go through anything again, says Astarion. Their lives here are already hard enough. Astarion then turned away and pushed a weird-looking switch on the table, which opened a secret door. Inside was some armour and a chest. Come, I want to show you this, said Astarion. Very interesting indeed. You see a piece of light armour made of metal and leather, decorated by tracings of black spiderweb mark. The armour itself is rusted and withered, scarred by the countless battles it went through. Yet it shines proudly, brandishing the care it received from its master, and engraving on its collar, Radiant Hope, the title of its owner. This is my most treasured breastplate, says Astarion. It accompanied me through an adventure under the sun. I guess now it's time to put it on again. Astarion put on his armour and said, so, how do I look? Just tell me it still fits, and I was given a couple of options here. I decided to go with the first one. You look cool, Astarion. Astarion replied, I thought so. Otherwise, you wouldn't be staring like that. Anyway, let's go, Gimmergar. We'd better head back to Stardew Valley. And on we went back to the valley in pursuit of the artifact that Astarion needs to walk under the sun. But first, we're going to go to Pierre and we're going to purchase some rice to make a mackie roll. We're going to go to our cooker, we're going to cook up an egg to make a fried egg, make the mackie roll, and we're going to bring those to the community centre because we can't forget about the bundles. Now, a lot of the cutscenes are very overpowered, and sometimes you can forget when you're in the middle of those cutscenes things you have to do afterwards. So it's time to get back to the regular Stardew Valley action and make some progress on these community centre bundles. We just got a cheese press there, that was nice. Look at all of the crops we get to harvest today. We're now halfway through fall, tons of pumpkins. We now completed the fall crops bundle, and that was the pantry fully done, which was nice, and this is going to unlock the greenhouse for us. It was then back to Pierre's, and I decided to purchase thousands of pumpkin seeds because we had the space, we had the sprinklers, it was just a matter of planting them down in the ground, and off we go on another adventure. Now we are going to get an absolute ton of money for all those pumpkins. We then had another scene here with Astarion. It said it's too late, the meteor shower is over. I thought I'd be desperate, but surprisingly I feel calm. The graveyard is shrouded in silence. You don't see any clues to unlock the Mage's barrier. Out of the blue, Amalum teleports in, allow me to skip the unnecessary discourse. I am here because I have something for you. This meteorite shard might break the barrier in this graveyard. By the gods, where did you dig that up? I thought we'd be standing here for another few centuries. Before I turn down your gratitude, I want to tell you this. Your siblings asked me to bring you this shard. Ever since I shared your gold with them, they have been searching for it. Astarion didn't hesitate. Astarion used the shard straight away, and it seemed like it just unlocked something. A portal is opening, and where could this portal lead? It was time for another adventure. Astarion turned around and asked me, "Are you scared, Gamergar? There's still time to turn back." I had an option. I'm coming with you. To be honest, I'm a little nervous, or I regret all of this. I went with the first option. I'm coming with you, Astarion. Oh, darling, just when I thought I couldn't like you even more. Astarion was impressed. Hold on to me, and don't let go. It's time to go into the portal to see if we can find this artifact. Everything about this place feels strange. This place might seem calm, but you notice scattered bones and skeletons along the road. The air grows heavy. Astarion's grip on your fingers tightens. His hands feel stiff and cold. He's not as calm or as confident as he pretends to be. It was time for us to venture up through this mysterious environment. You move forward through the thickening fog. After a few more seconds, Astarion stops. Gamergar, am I losing you? Don't let go. Astarion then begins to vanish. In the midst of the fog, you feel Astarion slipping away, and you fall into a muddled slumber. For a few seconds, everything gets dark and everything gets very quiet. Then I find myself witnessing a gruesome, profane black mass. I saw Astarion. One last thrust, he says, and I will be free of you. I'll never have to fear you again. Astarion was confronting Cazador. Stop, child, says Cazador. You don't know what you're doing. Astarion hesitates. A moment of pause. Then Astarion raises the blade in his hand. Astarion strikes Cazador several times with the blade. Cazador has been defeated. Astarion collapses to his knees, covered in blood, wailing uncontrollably. Shocked by what just occurred, we rush to Astarion's side to make sure he's okay. We had some options here. It's just a dream, Astarion, don't be fooled. I go up and hug him. I went straight up to Astarion to give him a nice hug, to make sure that everything was alright. Why, Hugh, says Astarion. He then looks at me. Wait, it's you, Gamergar. Why are you here? I must be dreaming again. That day keeps haunting me in my nightmare, tormenting me. So this is the wizard's trick, huh? Trapping me in my own memory. My nightmares, my terror. Before you could respond, the world around you crumbles and pulls you out of the scene. You land in a graveyard in the dead of night. Skeletal branches shroud the nameless grave, impenetrable to the soft, pale moonlight. A dark-haired man towers over the tombstone. He stands tall, almost patronizingly grounding the grave earth with the tip of his shoes. Ungrateful child, I granted you the gift of immortality, made you for a greater purpose than you could ever found. Without me, you are less than nothing. After all this time, have you finally learned to beg for forgiveness? Now, let us see if you have finally come to understand. It was time to stop him. Screw you, shouted the farmer. We rushed up, and we struck Cazador back from the grave. Delivered a solid kick that sent the evil vampire flying. Approaching the gravestone, we hear faint sobbing coming from beneath the earth. Without hesitation, we took out our shovel and dug until we could find Astarion trapped beneath. Astarion crawled out of the coffin, caked in dirt, even his features obscured by the grime. Forgive me, master. I was wrong. I know that now. Please, I beg of you. I won't defy you ever again. Astarion collapses at your feet, too afraid to lift his head. He shivers intensely, almost retching from fear. Wait, you're not Cazador. Who are you? What do you want from me? You wiped dirt off his face. Wait, I know you. It's you, Gamergar. So I'm still dreaming. I defied his will once. He locked me in his coffin and buried me 6 feet under for an entire year. No one came to look for me except despair. Gamergar, I'm so glad to see you. your vision starts to blur once again. We are now taken to a new scene. We find ourselves in a dark, long hallway. With a deep breath, we take a step forward and transverse until we find a door. It's time to open up the door, but for some reason, I had a realization that this dream will see its end on the other side. Without hesitation, I opened up the door. I was then whisked away to a new location, a cozy room for the young elf. Much nicer than the previous two locations, I have to say. He stares at you with a pair of blood-red eyes which are unbefitting of an elf. I approached the bed that Astarion was in. Astarion looked at me. "Who are you? I've seen you. You were in my dream." Unlike before, Astarion didn't seem to recognize you this time. "Wait, don't leave just yet," said Astarion. "Can you stay with me? Just for a little longer?" "I must be having a really long dream," said Astarion. "You were there, and some others." I inspected Astarion's face a little closer and noticed that there were faint trails of dried tears on his face. Was he crying in his dream? "I feel like, with you here, I might finally have something better than a nightmare," said Astarion. Astarion then reaches his hand to me, his palms clammy with sweat. I had one option, which was to stay with him. I kindly obliged. I didn't want to leave Astarion alone any longer. It was another dream that Astarion had. I was whisked away again, but this time back to where it all started. But Astarion was with me. Astarion looks like he had just escaped a long, harrowing nightmare. "Phew," said Astarion. "I thought that I'd be trapped in there forever." We made our way forward, up, to a statue that was the exact same as the one in the secret woods. The statue was holding some sort of treasure. It was a brilliantly red ring, and this must be the artifact Astarion was looking for. "We made it. This must be it," said Astarion. "The ring of the Sunwalker." And it was just within Astarion's grasp. However, when Astarion was very close to picking up the ring, he hesitated. The goal is just within his reach. What would Astarion do? Maybe I could pick the ring up for him. I decided to take the ring for Astarion, just to give him a little bit of a breather. I took the ring. No more trials. You are free to claim your prize. I handed the ring to Astarion. Astarion then looked at me with quite a surprising face. "Haha, Gamergar. It almost looks like you're proposing to me." Alright, I admit that was a terrible joke. It was time to put this quest to an end, and Astarion finally slips the ring right on his finger. "It feels strange," said Astarion. "I remember you gave me a hug in the dream. Darling, now I want to know how different it feels when it is real." And it was time to give Astarion a huge big hug to celebrate the quest that we just complete. Astarion pulls me into a nice gentle embrace. "This is a gift, Gamergar, and I'm forever grateful to you." It was then time to head out of this ghastly dungeon as dawn was approaching. The next day was a day of celebrations. The Stardew Valley Fair was here. Alfira says, "Oh, this is just wonderful. Seeing all this beautiful produce and the joyful smiles in everyone's faces makes me want to cry." I then went along and had a chat with Astarion, who is now in the event store today. "Oh, look at all this fresh meat on display here." I then spoke with him again. "The scent of blood is delightful. My grange was ready to be evaluated, and I spoke to Laezel. Do you have confidence in your harvest? I trust you have shed enough sweat and toil in your craft, else it is unworthy." I spoke with Merluz and I got second place. Not bad for just putting 9 pumpkins into the stall. To be honest, I didn't care too much for it because I was so absorbed with the Astarion events. I also got my star drop and my first level of mastery, so we're going to take the farming mastery and get our hands on that overpowered iridium scythe. This way it won't take me too long to harvest all of those lovely pumpkins when they're ready to be pulled up. I also went to Robin. I paid 100,000 gold to expand the house even further. We're now going to go to Clint here and we're going to upgrade our newly copper pan into a steel pan. I took the Juicy Bugs Wanted community quest. It's time to slay some bugs. There is a chance they could drop ancient seeds, so it was worth the fight. The next day I started hitting all my trees to get moss, because I needed a lot of moss to make some of the endgame items, especially that lovely statue that comes with the farming mastery. I spoke with Astarion today and he said, Shadowheart as well, isn't she? Her place is always spirited. She has her parents there and even a Laezel, a quite menacing one, and me, only myself and some tightly sealed walls. I'm used to the solitude already. I'm sure that's about to change very soon. We're going to go to Clint, collect our steel pan, and then we're going to talk to Clint again and we're going to upgrade that steel pan to a gold one. It was our time to finally finish off the fodder bundle. We had apples, we had hay, and we had some wheat. I also finished off the enchantress bundle too because I had a pomegranate, and we finished off the dye bundle with a duck feather. The bulletin board was almost complete. We just needed a nautilus shell, and that can be gotten wintertime on the beach. You can also get one, I believe, from Demetrius. Sometimes if you're really good friends with him, he can send you one in the mail. I spoke to Astarion again today and he said, my sweet, it seems all you do every day is busy tending to your farm. Don't you want to have some fun? I'm happy to offer company, and I am going to give him great company in the next few days. It was now time to go back to the mines and wipe out more insects to complete the Juicy Bugs Wanted quest for Willy. Now if I saw anything else in between, I would wipe them out as well. I gave Astarion a ruby today and we finally got him up to 10 out of 10 hearts. That means we can finally get married, but we need a rainy day so we can talk to the mariner to get the mermaid pendant. This will unlock the final event we have with Astarion, which is pretty cool. It's also a little bit kinky as well, but it's a great finale to this absolutely magnificent mod. We got the Juicy Bug meat for Willy, quest complete, some money in the bag, and then it was off to the desert trader to get some staircases. We had a lot of jades accumulated from all of the dungeon delving that we have been doing. We went straight back into Skell Cavern and it was time to wipe out some monsters. The main reason I came here was to get more mastery levels. The Skell Cavern is one of the best places you can go to get mastery levels, alongside pulling up crops, but the mining XP you get down here and the combat XP is really good. I did really well. I got over 250 pieces of rudium ores. I even got a dinosaur egg and some pieces I can donate to Gunther. I also picked up a new quest here. We're going to go with community cleanup. This is going to give us access to the fiber seed. Because it was raining today, I also spoke with the old mariner, gave him 5,000 gold for the mermaid pendant. We went back to Clint's, we picked up our gold pan, and we're now going to get Clint to break open an absolute ton of geodes because we still really want to get access to the sores. We want to talk to Krobus, get the lovely star drop, and get some other bits and bobs. And I'm hoping this will be enough for us to finally get that key. We gave Astarion the pendant and he says, I never thought about binding myself in marriage. This is such a peculiar feeling. I have to make sure. You truly mean it, don't you? There was a couple of options here. I am honestly asking you, Astarion. Someone has to look after you. You're a mess when you're on your own. What's the matter now? Are you scared of living on a farm? If you don't want this, I won't push. I went for the third option. What's the matter now? Are you scared of living on a farm? Oh yes, I'm terrified of living there. Look at you, all flustered and tense. I'm just joking. Yes, I think I'd like that. I'll set everything up. We'll have the ceremony in 3 days, okay? Perfect. It was going to be a fall wedding. I thought I'd never look forward to anything more than seeing the sun again. But on our wedding day, you will shine even brighter than the sun itself. Gunther finally paid me a visit the next day. It was time to get the rusty key. We can now go into the sewers and meet a new NPC by the name of Krobus. But first, we're going to do some community cleanup. We're going to head up to the bathhouse, spend the whole day pulling up trash. Quest completed, fiber seeds got. It was Arnald's birthday today, so I went up and I decided to give him a salad. I didn't really know what else to give him, and he was very happy with that. So he thanked me for remembering his birthday. We went down to the sewers, spoke to Krobus, picked up the star drop, and that was maximum energy increased yet again. We also stopped by and pulled up another legendary fish down here, the mutant carp. It was then time for the wedding. Myself and Astarion were finally wed in holy matrimony. I wonder if you can even call it that if it's a vampire, but you know what? It was love and it was real, so who cares? Life is going to be different from now on, but the future looks bright. We finally now had Astarion living on the farm. The wedding was wonderful, wasn't it dear? It absolutely was. Darling, this is finally the day. I am all yours and you are all mine. I will etch our vows on my heart forever. I went into the Elver's Tavern. It was time to get Astarion a nice wedding gift, some black market blood. There you go, Astarion. Ah, darling, I absolutely adore you. It was time then to fix up the stump here for the raccoon. 100 pieces of hardwood, no problem at all. This means we can take on the Raccoon Quests in just a couple of days. It was now time to get rid of all the Starfruit wines and fill up our kegs with pumpkins. The raccoon moved in. He was looking for 5 cockles and a smoked tuna. And this is something now that we could go and fish up. I also had a sweet gem berry, gave that into the statue here in the secret woods, and I was rewarded with another star drop. It was nice to see Astarion relaxing in the sun. I had a quick chat with him. Astarion said, Gale is such a horribly boring wizard. Everyone was thrilled about this new world, but he dragged along an entire chest of tomes and buried himself in them. Good to know. It was then time for the Halloween event, and I spoke to Shadowheart. She said so much for their costumes. They are going to crap their pants if I bring some props from the Sharon Temple in Baldur's Gate. I thought that was hilarious. I then went ahead and spoke to Laezel. Parlour tricks and nonsense, she says. Unless it's a cake, it's not worth my blade. I then had a quick chat with Astarion to see what he thought of this whole event, and Astarion said, these ridiculous decorations and phony ghosts are only good enough to entertain children. But if you want something truly thrilling, love perhaps, I will give you a special treat tonight. Ooh, I wasn't expecting that. Gail says, tell me, Gamergar, do you think I possess a certain spectral finesse? A knack for the ethereal arts, if you will. Before I was barred from such endeavours, I took great delight in weaving illusions on days like these, sent shivers down the spines of students and scholars alike. A harmless bit of arcane mischief, really. Though I suspect the faculty saw it rather differently. Okay. Some man. I then picked up the chest after the maze and I got the golden pumpkin. It was time to head on back home. I gave the golden pumpkin to Astarion. Ooh, a golden pumpkin, what a marvellous concept, he says. Thank you for this luxurious gift. It was the final day of fall. It was time to harvest all of our lovely pumpkins. We had the iridium scythe, so we could go to absolute town on these. And it didn't take me too long to get them all. Now, a lot of these pumpkins will be put into kegs for pumpkin juice. They sell for lots of money. The excess will just be sold naturally. I also went to Marnie's. I purchased 2 heaters so our animals wouldn't go cold for winter. Then it was back into the mystery cave, and we're going to get the combat mastery because this will allow us to use trinkets, and some trinkets are stupidly overpowered. It was now time to finally complete the community centre. I just wanted a snow yam, so I started hoeing up the ground all over the place. I got a new book of power, Jack be nimble, Jack be thick. It gives a permanent +1 to defence. It's not bad. It's better than 0 defence, I suppose. Picked up a request there from Gus. He just wants 12 eggs, no problem at all. And we're also cycling through the crab pots just to get the last of the fish for the fishing collection. All we need now are the fish over on Ginger Island and the submarine fish. So once we donated the snow yam, the crafts room was finished. That will fix the bridge over to the quarry where we can go and get some more resources if we need them. We're now getting pumpkin juice out of the cakes. The starfruit are finished with. Then it was time to head on down to Cindersap Forest and pull up another legendary fish, the glacier fish, and this one was quite tough. We also got the perch along with the lingcod. The lingcod could be quite challenging as well. We then went into the saloon and it was time to put the eggs Gus wanted right into his fridge. It was actually 24 eggs he wanted and not 12. Quest complete, 3,000 gold in the bag. We also went to the raccoon and I gave in a smoked tuna to complete a quest there. Thanks Bobo, take this, and I got 25 powder melon seeds. I then went and had a chat with Astarion and he quietly pocketed the key from the table. He said, Darling, you don't have any plans today, do you? Actually, I arranged a surprise party for you. Just head to Baldur's village after 4 o'clock. I was very excited. Don't be too late, darling. I'd like to keep you all to myself for the whole night. I left Krobus waiting in the bush for 3 days. I felt really bad. Krobus gave me the magnifying glass and he ran back down into the sewers. He must be freezing. It was then time to go into the Baldur's village and chat with all of Astarion's friends. Shadowheart said, Oh, Gamergar, finally. As I approached the group, it was time for some giggles. Astarion opened up with, Darling, I've been waiting for you. Then Shadowheart says, I think Astarion is finally ready to open up those wines, and they must be very high quality wines indeed. He wouldn't let us touch them before, reserved for the finest moments only. Very nice. A great compliment from Gale. At first I thought the ring was an unobtainable myth. I wanted to warn him about the peril of obsession over a powerful relic, for I knew it firsthand. But thanks to his persistence, we can finally see Astarion bask in daylight. Gamergar, you must have the magic of weaving dreams into reality. And you can weave my dreams into reality, everyone, if you hit that subscribe button. Petra said that Astarion has been searching for a way to free everyone from the darkness, and after what he just witnessed today, he believes that dreams can actually come true, which is some great optimism there from Petras. Delria says, for the time I thought Astarion had grown tired of the life of exile and was unwilling to return to the Underdark. I was wrong. He made the right choice. Gerrigar, you helped him prove it. Gerrigar, would you like to give a toast? Absolutely no problem, and I had a choice here. To Stardew Valley, to Astarion, or to freedom. And I said, to freedom, because everybody deserves freedom. Then spoke with Astarion later. He said, I didn't expect these folks to be so lightweight. Look at them. They were all passed out from drinking. Darling, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I had a great time, Astarion. I was wondering when our friends would let you go. I couldn't even get a word in with my own partner, the sweetheart I meant to spend the night with. Well, if Astarion puts it that way, I said, are you jealous? I had two other options as well, but I had to choose the are you jealous one for the crack. Astarion then said, aha, I won't be a victim to such petty positiveness. I simply think they're lucky to be able to spend time with someone as wonderful as my darling love. Oh, what a compliment. After a few seconds, Astarion finally admits it. I do want you all to myself. Gerrigar, would you come with me to a quiet little corner that belongs only to us? I said no problem if it's a corner, but we didn't go to a corner. We went into a very exotic suite. Astarion says, finally, a moment that belongs just to us. I reserved the honeymoon suite at Elver's Tavern for us. Then Astarion said, Gerrigar, you know, even though we live under the same roof now, I still find the time we share too precious. Fleeting even. I want it all. I want you. All of you. Just for tonight. Astarion then leans in. His soft curls brush against the lobe of my ear, sending a ticklish shiver down my spine. Ah, it must be the wine. I find it hard to restrain myself. Or maybe it's just you. You're too tempting in every way, my love. Does Astarion want to... I had a few options here, and I decided to go for the kinkiest one. And I said to Astarion, you can drink my blood. Just to see what kind of a reaction I would get. Oh, darling. You're making it so very hard for me to behave. But I won't make it hurt. Well, maybe just a little. Just enough to have you drown in that pleasure. Astarion then took off his shirt. You're intoxicating, my love. We have the rest of the night all to ourselves. Astarion wipes the blood off his lips. He leans in again, gently wrapping his arms around you. You can feel his breath trailing along your skin as he bends down. His lips press softly against your neck in a tender kiss. Gerrigar, just for now, you are all mine, and I'm all yours. I want to taste you, fully, every part of you. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? Astarion draws close to your neck again, his eyes gleaming with unhidden desire. Shh. Take it slow, love. The night is long. We still have time. For the duration of that whole night, I experienced a lot of passion and indulgence with Astarion. Sunlight spills softly into the room through the window the next day. Astarion slowly reaches his hand into the beam of light, greeting his long-lost son with a gentle touch. It's beautiful, isn't it? Says Astarion. I'm lucky. From now on we can greet the morning sun together every day. Well, that was one hell of an event. Huge shout out against the developers. Unbelievable. We finally got Nautilus Shell from the beach. That was the final bundle complete, the community centre restored. We got a recycling machine as a prize there as well, which isn't too bad. For the rest of the day we were fishing. I also needed the midnight carp for the fishing collection. Luckily enough, I was able to get that in winter in the evening time. And we then get a cool cutscene here of everybody rejoicing and celebrating that the community centre has been fully restored. Georgia did not succeed on this playthrough. Now, I did have accumulated quite a lot of prize tickets, so I went into Merluce's house, went up to his ticket machine. I just wanted to get that Book of Power, the Friendship 101. I really should have gotten that before. It would have made getting friendship points up with Astarion much easier, but hey, we still did it, we still got married. I also picked up the squid, went into Willie's and we're fixing up the boat. 5 iridium bars, 5 battery packs, and a few hundred pieces of hardwood. We made huge amounts of money today, primarily from selling lots of potato juice. We made over 240,000 gold. It was then time to take the boat down to Ginger Island. Now, it was very late in the challenge that we got to Ginger Island, so I didn't have enough gold to get the parrot to find everything. All I needed was to find just one golden walnut, and then I would have enough for this lovely Georgia parrot to find the rest. So I paid 1,270,000 gold. Yes, we are going to show Georgia some love because they deserve it. Georgia forever, everybody. Those lovely golden parrots are going to save us tons of time. The very next day, we're going to head down to the ice fishing event. We spoke to Laezel here. Go on, Gamergar, prove your strength. Let's see what prizes you can seize. Gail says, ice fishing. People say it builds character. Test one's patience sharpens the mind. Me, I should certainly work on my patience by attempting to secure a fine catch. Then spoke to Shadowheart. Be grateful that it's just normal fish that are coming out of the ice. Oh, so witty. I then went ahead and I spoke with Halson himself. Freshly caught fish is such a unique delicacy. I would really love to buy some of everyone's ice fishing hauls. I'm sure Mayor Lewis wouldn't hesitate. It was then time for the ice fishing event, and I managed to win by catching up a couple of fish. Didn't take too much hassle. I managed to get a total of 6 big slimy fish, and the rewards are fairly cool. We got some tackles along with a sailor's cap. Oh darling, you are the town's best ice fisher. Yes I am. That was remarkable what you did. Although I must ask, what exactly are we keeping those squids for? I suppose Astarion hasn't had great experiences with squids all around, you know, from the previous game. It was time to plant some powder melon seeds because we were in winter. We're then going to use up all of our lovely golden wallets and unlock the entirety of Ginger Island. So we're going to build up the house, build up the warp obelisk, unlock the fast travelling, fix up the beach area so people can take their holidays. We're even going to fix up the shop as well. This is going to give us access to a new trader. Fix up the bridge and free Professor Squirrel. This will activate his archaeology quest. And we're also going to fish up the lionfish that we need for the fishing collection. We're also going to run into the Pirate's Cove here, and we're going to get the stingray. And finally, we're going to pull up the blue discus, and that's all of the Ginger Island fish fully caught. We're then going to go into Key's secret walnut room. We have a choice. Skull Cavern Invasion or Key's Cuisine. We're going to take the invasion quest because it's more key gems, and it's another excuse to go down into the Skull Caverns where the XP is just waiting to be accumulated. Now, Skull Cavern Invasion, the enemies are much stronger, so we need to come in here with a little bit of caution. Despite the fact that we have good weapon, we still need to watch out. These enemies, some of them can hit like trucks. Now, some of the serpents are bigger than others. The bigger the serpent is, the more HP it has. Saying that, they're not too much of a threat. If you hit one, you do send it reeling for a few seconds. That gives you a few extra seconds to prepare your next strike or to run away. Because we got the secret letter that says get to floor 100 in Skull Cavern, we get a cool cutscene here of Mr. Key giving us iridium snake milk, and this permanently increases our health by 25. It really is a nice game changer. The more health we have, the more abuse we can take before passing out. Now, floors like this can be absolutely lethal. All these iridium bats hit like trucks. They have lots of HP as well, and they're fairly nimble. But we managed to get through it no problem at all. We even got some radioactive ore. You can only get that in the Skull Cavern Invasion and the hardened versions of the regular mines. We also got an extra level up in Mastery, which was nice. We're now going to get Clint to break open some geodes here, and we're going to get him to break open some treasure boxes. We got very lucky. We picked up a treasure appraisal guide from the first one. That will triple the price of all artifacts. When we got him to break open the mystery boxes, we also got another book of power called the Book of Mysteries. And this slightly increased the chances of us finding more mystery boxes, which is very nice. Let's take a look at all of the books of power we have so far. So we're just missing a few. We gave Astarion an ancient doll. He said, haha, what a delightfully animate little thing. Simply adorable. Astarion loves ancient dolls, apparently. For today, we're going to swing over to the quarry. We're going to head on into the quarry mines just to take a look around. Now, at the end of the mines, you get the golden sight. It's a bit useless for us at the moment, but it's still a collectible, and it's nice to get it. This is also a good place to go if you want to get some coal, because as of patch 1.6, there's now a wing to the very right. You need a good pickaxe to get in there, but you can't get coal nodes there every single day. We're going to take on a new quest here, Fragments of the Past. We just need to get 100 pieces of bone. That's going to be simple now that we've access to Ginger Island. Today is the Squid Fest. We just need to pull up 8 squid, And this was very easy to do because I had squid bait. All of the previous squid I caught on those lonely cold nights, most of those went into bait makers, and it didn't take me long to pull up 8 squid needed for the maximum prize. We're now going to get a really cool book of power. It's called The Art of Crabbing, and it gives a significant buff to crab pots. A 25% chance to yield double the loot inside crab pots. It's just simply amazing, and it really does bulk up that aspect of fishing. Because a lot of people, especially endgame, you wouldn't really be using a whole lot of crab pots, would you? But with that book of power, it's a little bit more accessible. We're now going to transverse the volcano dungeon today just to get some goodies. We haven't been to the peak just yet, so we will get ourselves a free prismatic shard once we get to the top. Halfway there we meet the dwarf. We can get some cool stuff off the dwarf, including a book of power that allows you to mine up diamonds if you're very lucky, but I didn't have the diamonds on me right now to get that. That's something we may get in the future. At the very top I get myself a free prismatic shard. We're then going to go to Robin next day and we're going to do some house renovations. Now, a lot of these renovations cost a lot of money, but it really spans out the house, and the more space we can put in our house the better, because despite the fact that we're doing all these renovations, it doesn't make the outside of the house bigger, so it's an absolute must-have for all of those artisan lovers out there. We can fill this whole thing up with cakes. We're going to get mining mastery today, just to make the most out of our dungeon delves. We're then going to go to the mutant bug lair, and we are going to pick up the Dark Talisman. While we're here, we might as well fish up the Slime Jack, because that's needed for the fishing collection. We were now trying to get into the Witch's Hut. The Void Mayonnaise is now a lot more rare to get, but I got lucky and I managed to put it up there without much hassle. I've still done some more fishing here because I wanted to get the Void Salmon, which is also needed for the fishing collection. We went inside the Witch's Hut, we picked up the Wizard's Ink, and then Astarion asked me the golden question. Should we adopt a baby, Gamergar? Yes, I want vampire babies, and if you've made it this far into the video, please put it into the comments. Vampire babies. If the developers have made it this far into the video, please let it be a thing where if you marry Astarion, you can have vampire babies. That's my only request. Thanking you. It was now time for the submarine event. We pulled up all the fish we needed to complete the collection. The midnight squid, spookfish, and we finally pulled up the blobfish as well, and we now got the master angler achievement. That means a star drop for us tomorrow from good old Willy himself. The next day I got a big surprise off Astarion. We have accumulated enough friendship points to get another star drop. But the fun doesn't stop there, because in that mailbox right beside us is another star drop that we can take. And the taste reminds us of D&D. Who doesn't love a good game of D&D? I normally play the paladin class myself, but I normally end up going evil. I dealt with a straight beast last night, says Astarion. It trespassed on the farm. A midnight feast delivered to my door. Who knows? Maybe next time there'll be a human intruder. Thief, bandit, or a raider. Ha, I'm already excited. I better tell Mayor Luz to watch out, because he comes along and he takes all the stuff out of our shipping bin. And that is the star drop from Willy. Thank you very much, Willy. And it's a bit sad there, because Willy gives it a star drop because he doesn't have any kids to pass it on to. So every time I get that star drop, I always feel a little bit sad for Willy. And there you have it, folks. That is 100 days of Stardew Valley complete. Baldur's Village edition. I really hope you liked this video. And if you have a few seconds to spare, consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. It takes so long to make these big videos, so I really appreciate it if you take the time and just press that subscribe button. If you don't like the content, don't worry about it. But if you're searching up the channel all the time, just subscribe. Better to get notified than to miss out on something cool, you know? Now I just want to say it again, but a huge shout out to the people that put their blood, sweat and tears into making this mod. Absolute respect. This is one of the best Stardew Valley mods I have ever experienced. The Astarion events were absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's no higher praise I can give. For everybody else who's watched, I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great week and I'll see you soon.